Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooter's gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah.
I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Stroke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy, only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick, and let's get the show started. It's starting off a little weird, but it's okay. It is what it is. We're lights out today. Got the candles all lit up. It's a little festive with the little Halloween stuff around. Got a little jack-o'-lantern over here and one in front of me, and Train of Truth is here. And I got some medicine. I got my medicine rolled up. Gonna open it up. Smells very good. Here we go. Got it all nice and rolled up. Lights out. Smelling good. What's up, Terry? How you doing, butter? Hope you're having a good night. It's a wet one over here. It's been raining since this afternoon, and it's gonna be like this all night until possibly tomorrow evening. I'm already feeling it. My neck feels like shit. I feel like crap. I just wanted to come on here for a little bit, put in a show because I didn't do one yesterday. I went to my friend's house yesterday, had a great time. Great dinner, great atmosphere, great friends. You know, it was a good time. I had a good time. But today, I went to IKEA today and I picked up 1,200 candles. I bought 1,200 and they raised up the price on it. I was like, you mother. I'm trying not to curse on Sunday. I don't know if that's going to hold up. But Train of Truth, it's like, yep, you're selling the truth. It's not going to hold up. Yeah, but I bought 1,200 tea light candles today and to keep it nice and glowy here. I do have some news for us to cover for tonight. I'm not going to be here all night. I'm probably going to be here for like an hour and a half, possibly. Whatever windows I have open now is pretty much what we're going to watch. Do have a couple of good ones here, and I have a couple of Tyson De La Cruz here also to watch. I just gotta rearrange this a little bit because I like to leave Tyson for the end. So we'll watch these at the end, and then we'll jump in right into the. Let's go right to Jason A because I have Jason A here. So let's open this up and let's watch this together.
Here in India, I think it's 1 billion people have digital ID. It's been taken up on a voluntary basis in huge numbers, not least because it means that you can access your own money, make payments so much more easily than is available with others. So I think now we need to go out and make that case of the huge benefits that this will bring. There needs to be a national debate about it, and I think
Seven,
see the benefits that come.
Seven, if you want to join, let me know.
As it's happened in other countries, people say that will make my life easier, and therefore I want to get on with it.
They say digital ID is the linchpin of the United Nations push for a global surveillance state. Indeed, Australia was one of 193 countries that signed up last year under Penny Wong and Anthony Albanese to the United Nations insidious Pact for the Future, a non-binding pact which says signatory countries will, quote, develop and decide on a set of safeguards for inclusive, responsible, safe, secure, and user-centered digital public infrastructure that can be implemented in different contexts, end of quote. The Chinese mouthpiece, the Global Times, praised the pact.
Visual is more powerful than the state.
All right,
here, people like Starmer, they want the state to make sure that individuals know that the state is more powerful than them, and they can stick that idea, that notion where the sun don't shine, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely, very well said. I mean, what they want to do is actually own us, manipulate us, and control every single thing we do. And it isn't just these ID cards, although that's the biggest symbol of their authoritarianism. It's other things like this obsession with giving children breakfast and free breakfast for everybody.
Yes, they're not free, of course. We're paying for them.
They're not free because we're paying for them. But what that is doing, children, if they're being fed by the state, then children will have allegiance to the state. They will not have allegiance to their parents. And people who go along with this kind of stuff, and the people who go along with these cards, they are just giving away their souls to the state, and nothing is free. Like you say, those meals aren't free, but also these cards, nothing is free. They own you, and they will manipulate you, and they will curtail your activities. They will, if you are doing things they do not like, then they will punish you. We are heading to 1984. We're heading to Orwell's an Orwellian dystopia, and people, yes, people are angry about it. But as I said before, Kev, they're not angry enough. We should be absolutely terrified at this, and from terror and fear should come real anger and a desire to do something about it.
All that we can hope, Philip, is that just as when Tony Blair tried this assault on our freedom back in the early noughties, he was so stunned by the level of public protest that he dropped the idea. Hopefully, hoping against hope, this government will take the same hint and get rid of them. But you talk about the state control. Don't forget, we have an official system in this country where the government backs teachers who keep secrets about their pupils from the pupils' parents.
Here's digital ID opponent Whitney Webb warning that the WEF, the World Economic Forum, are desperate for public-private partnerships linked to digital IDs.
Essentially what this public-private partnership that the WEF is pushing for is for every person's access to the internet to be tied to a digital ID or a government-issued ID, but presumably a digital ID, just because of where government-issued ID programs are all going essentially around the world.
I already know how this is going to work.
Now, many skeptics warn that a digital ID is the end of democracy as we know it, and an irreversible step into a dystopian future of firstly no cash, just a digital currency controlled by governments, potentially leading to a Chinese-style social credit system where government has the ability to control and restrict every single aspect of your lives, from where you go, how you travel, your health care, what you eat, control over your spending habits, a veto over your job prospects, and so on. Here's digital ID and digital currency skeptic and former Wall Street investment banker, by the way, so she knows of what she speaks, Catherine Austin Fitz.
Programmable money doesn't click in and work well unless you've got everybody on the grid. You need to be able to track them. You need to be able to watch their behavior. You need to be able to influence their behavior. And then you've got complete control. And that is not just wearables. That is not just an internet of bodies. That is a coup d'etat. That is the end of human liberty in the West.
On your screen is the World Economic Forum's graph on how a digital ID is central to controlling every part of an individual's life. Financial services, food and sustainability, travel and mobility, e-commerce, social media and telecommunications, it's all there. And of course, every aspect of your healthcare. And what would that look like? Here's CEO of Pfizer speaking not long ago at the World Economic Forum, the WEF, for example, boasting about the latest pharmaceutical digital technology.
Basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet, and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet.
Are they kidding? Digital ID schemes potentially give absolute powers of surveillance and control over every aspect of your life to unelected bureaucrats, unscrupulous politicians, and greedy governments and corporations. If you don't think future authoritarian governments of whatever persuasion won't use these powers ruthlessly and mercilessly, then you must have been fast asleep during COVID QR codes and vaccine mandates.
I believe that over time, facial age estimation, liveness tests, and other forms of age assurance will become normalized as well. Different people at different ages will have different levels of comfort with things like taking selfies or using biometrics or even digital ID. It really varies.
The Chinese mouthpiece, the Global Times, praised the pact, which should be reason enough in itself to run a mile from it. Gushing, quote, "As we enter a new era, we face the significant question of what kind of a world we should build and how to build it," end of quote. China has provided an answer, constructing a community with a shared future for mankind, end of quote. Okay, well, we've seen that future that China is so keen to impose on the rest of us, and it's an absolute horror show.
A good score brings benefits, but people with low scores lose rights. The cinema names and shames people considered untrustworthy, plastering their details, even their addresses, across big screens.
Damn.
The Supreme Court has created a blacklist for so-called bad citizens, those whose ratings have dropped to 0. On it are companies, but also 23 million people to date.
Haman Jabi is a former Silicon Valley video and camera design whiz kid. He's now turned whistleblower on the dangers of where big tech, along with big government, want to take us.
Facial recognition will be used to unlock your digital identity, which is going to be a tool of control for the agendas that are coming down the pipeline.
Elements of that control are already with us.
Yep.
Alexa, good morning.
That's crazy. That's true.
You are never alone in your home, and this is why. All your devices at home and all smart appliances, they are all connected on a wireless network. When you leave your home, all modern vehicles are connected to the internet, so your automobile is being tracked all the time. When you're going under a string of smart LED poles and smart LED lights on the highway and in the streets of your towns and cities, those form a wireless network and are tracking your vehicle. They're tracking all the devices on you, from smartphones to smartwatches when you're walking on the streets. So data is being collected 24/7 continuously on every human being whenever you are within these wireless networks.
If Haman Jabi is correct, much of the dystopian technology to track and surveil us is already in place.
Thank you, Jason A. Man, this guy always puts up bangers after bangers of awesome, like, detailed, like, news feeds from all around the world. He puts in a collage, and I like watching his channel. So please go over and subscribe to his channel, Jason A. Dude is I don't know if he's an op. I don't know what he is, but I like what he puts up, and I thank him for that. I'm resizing some of the videos I have here. You probably see the light changing in the background. It's because I'm changing up the sizes on some of these videos that I have here for us to watch tonight. It's all, I promise, it's going to be interesting. It's probably things that you haven't seen. There's probably things you have seen. I mean, if you are subscribed to Tyson the Cruz, then you would have seen all his videos. But if you haven't, you will be watching it here, because I do watch it here on my channel. So it'll be interesting. We got interesting weather heading up the coast. You know, we got a nor'easter heading up this way, which is it's just a coastal storm what we're getting up here in the Northeast. And give me a second, and we're going to be checking out the weather. Which is going to be interesting. That's all I can say. Let me see what the weatherman says here, because I want a shorter one. It's Connecticut. We're going to see what's up with Connecticut. So we're going to get some Connecticut weather. First alert weather for here. So let's go ahead and set this up. I hope you had a great weekend, everyone. I hope the week was okay for you guys. I hope the weekend was good, and I hope you were able to recharge and start feeling a little bit better for the upcoming week. I know the energy is still high. That's why we've been getting a lot of earthquakes around the world. Just the other day, we had a big earthquake in the Drake's Passage that was a 7.8. That was like pretty strong in the Drake's Passage. So all that would do is just elevate the water and cause a tsunami somewhere in that region of South America, maybe even South Africa, of course, the Arctic, and with the Antarctica. But we don't ever talk about Antarctica, especially on this channel. That's the unknown. That's where no one's allowed to go. And then you wonder why. You're like, why am I not allowed to go there? They only send you to a couple of places like that you could go, but you can't travel the whole Antarctica. Okay, so let me put this. I thought I put the volume down, but it always finds a way to sneak back in because it did this new update on the phone. So it's like you have to like do so many other things. I hate when they do updates on these phones. And talking about phones and talking about what Jason A was just talking about, we have a lot of technology, right? We got a lot of technology in our homes that we're not really thinking about the threat these technology could be for us, right? Because we all have televisions, right? We all have computers or laptops, desktops, phones. We all have cell phones. I'm sure 99% of us that are on my channel have a cell phone. But we also have other things of, for people that have money and people that are bougie, they have these smart refrigerators, they have smart stoves, they have smart lighting in their home, they have smart heating in their home, they turn on the fire for you. You have homes that are like, as soon as you walk in, they're like, hi, it's like, how was your day? I'm like, what the fuck do wants to ask me this? But it's like AI. It's gonna be like your friend that you never had before, right? And it's gonna walk in and it's gonna know everything about you, right? Everything. Because every time you go to the restroom and you piss on that bowl, it's gonna pick up the readings of your piss and see what's deficient, and then it's gonna recommend you, okay, I think for tonight for dinner you should have this based on your urine sample. Based on your crap that you just took, I think we're gonna hold back a little bit on the dairy tonight. So it's like, shit like that is what's the future is gonna be. It's gonna tell you right there and then, like, all right, I suggest you should eat more, more nuts, or eat more vegetables, or more fruits, or certain things that it's gonna recommend for you to make. And not to worry, we placed an order for it, and it'll be here within an hour. And all you got to do is like prepare it, go to the door, get the box, and prepare your food. It's just, technology is going to be so crazy in the future. It's going to be scary. It's just a very scary thing. And would you trust that? Like, it's going to monitor everything you do. And it's going to be so smart. Like your bed, it's going to pick up readings from your pillow, and it's going to read how many breaths you took in the night. If you had any like disturbance in the night, like what was your temperature of your body at night. It's going to tell you how many times you flipped like a fish that night. Like, it's going to detail all that. And it's going to give a report directly to your doctor, that your doctor, if it's something concerning, they're going to give you a call and let you know. Hey, it's your doctor. Just want to give you a call because we see some elevated levels on your sleep and on what you're eating. So we're going to try to send you something, some medicine to combat that. So, within an hour, you have a drone dropping off medicine at your house. In your backyard, you have a drone that'll deliver your goods. You got to be careful with the future. It's going to be like, so I'm saying 2030 is going to be very weird. And I don't know if I'll be here for that. I don't know if I'll be here for that. We all don't know if we're going to be here or not. But for those that are watching the future, the 80s was awesome. I'm sorry, but I really did love the 80s. Growing up in the 80s, as I see how it is today in 2025, it's nothing. It's night and day. It's just so different. Like the like television, the what they program us with programs on a daily basis. That's totally different from how it is today to then. Um, the the freaking toys, the cartoons, the news, everything was just a lot like different. Now I just feel like everything's just too wide open. It's like if a kid, what's more dangerous, a kid grabbing a gun or a kid grabbing your cell phone? Answer that question. What's more dangerous, a kid grabbing a gun or a kid grabbing a cell phone? I know everyone's going to say the gun, of course, right? Yeah, but if the gun's unloaded and is properly, secured, the most dangerous to me is the cell phone. And if that kid has access to whatever on that cell phone, that's more dangerous. The programming that comes from this device, I think, is more dangerous than any gun that has been produced. Because with a gun, you have to load it in order to execute it. This, all you just need is a finger and press an app, and you have free access to like all the porn you want to watch, all the YouTube, like crazy shit you could see on YouTube, and other apps that are very scary to be a part of. Like, I keep it simple. I have my video games, I have my banking stuff, and my YouTube, and I have full access to the internet. Our phones have full access to the internet. So what's more dangerous? If we have a kid that's very, intuitive and like wants to touch and try to figure out things and then goes onto your phone and see things that they're not supposed to at a young age, that really fucks up their brain. That's why this LBTQ LMLP group was trying to infiltrate the younglings to reprogram their brain so that way when they grow up, they're like, oh yeah, we had a choice. We could be they thumbs and he she's. I still don't understand the he she. I don't get it. I never understood this fucking pronoun shit. It's like it's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I was like, for a second, it's like I died and I came back and I have to like deal with all this bullshit. Like, I didn't like pronouns when I was in elementary school, and now I have to deal with it as an adult. Are you gotta be fucking kidding me? Like, take your day dumb she he get the fuck out of here with your shit. Oh fuck, man, that's crazy. But that group should be put on a watch list for sure. They're just as bad as Antifa is, just as bad. I don't trust any fucking people getting together like that. If it's not for the good, it's all bad. All right, enough of me talking. We got some more stuff to watch. Let's see what the hell is going on with this nor'easter up here in the Northeast, because my fucking body hurts. I'm not having a good time tonight, but I still got to do this. All right, let's check this out.
It is a first alert weather day, and we'll remain in this mode through tomorrow. It is a holiday weekend, so fortunately, school's not in session tomorrow, but otherwise outdoor plans
they got
will be
fucking
impacted given the wet and windy conditions. So the rain and wind continue to ramp up tonight across Connecticut. We expect the peak of the storm throughout the day tomorrow. A windswept rain, potential coastal flooding, a couple of upcoming high tide cycles, and then for Tuesday, the storm is going to slowly exit. We expect some improvement. The wind will start to decrease. You could see some late day sunshine before it sets. Our view from Torrington right now, certainly wet. We've got raindrops hitting the camera lens, and from Waterbury, more of the same, 53 degrees. A northeast wind sustained at 20 miles an hour, 58 from New Haven. Where we started the day to where we ended the day temperature-wise for many communities, just variable about 5 degrees. So not a big swing in temperature today. And here's our view from Mystic. A little bit choppy there on the water. For the Connecticut coastline, we do have a coastal flood advisory in effect for the upcoming high tide cycles. We're coming off of one now. We have another one tomorrow morning, another one tomorrow late afternoon, tomorrow evening.
Yeah, but the storm's going to be with us for a while.
Of inundation. We're talking about in the typical prone areas, so just keep that in mind with that easterly wind pushing water into the sound with these high tide cycles. Here's a look at current temperatures: 50 to 55 inland. 53 to 58 on the shoreline. Certainly a raw feel to the air given those winds that are up out of the northeast. So those winds are up given we've got
the lows.
Counterclockwise flow around the low, clockwise flow around the high. So between the two, that wind picking up in intensity, and that is a trend that will continue.
This one by South Carolina,
this
one by the Jersey.
Tonight throughout the morning hours of tomorrow. Eventually looking westward, we have a cold front that's going to bring some chilly air to Connecticut later this upcoming work week. So first alert futurecast, stepping you through the evening, the general theme
it is ridiculous.
Waves of rain to continue overspreading Connecticut. Moderate to heavy at times. You see those yellows and oranges. Here's tomorrow morning. Scott Haynes, of course, be with you very early to start the day. Jill Gilardi thereafter tracking the downpours and those wind speeds.
I'm not going to be happy.
The peak,
tomorrow.
The worst of it likely tomorrow morning, and then we'll see some scattered areas of rain. So it may not be raining all day long tomorrow, but certainly periods of rain, a windswept rain, as those winds will remain up all the way through tomorrow evening, and then we get some improvement tomorrow night into our Tuesday. So models have been kind of going back and forth. One commonality here is the Cape and Islands getting 1, 2, 3, perhaps 4 inches of rain. The European model also showing, say, around Long Island. Here within the borders of Connecticut, we're thinking 1 to 2 as opposed to anything less than that, given the waves of rain that we just saw on First Alert Futurecast tonight into the day tomorrow. But overall, this pesky area of low pressure, this coastal storm, will be slow to exit. So as it does so early Tuesday, outside of a lingering shower, as our Tuesday moves forward in time, we could see some breaks in the clouds and partial clearing. And then here comes that cold front that will bring that drop in temperature later this week. So in summary, we've got heavy rain at times tonight through the first half of tomorrow, that wind that could gust. So we're starting to see the leaves come down from the trees, leaf drop happening. Now it's the middle of October. So some branches may come down with those gusts, leading to some isolated power outage concerns, and then again some coastal flooding. So 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts, perhaps a couple gusts over that inland along the shoreline. We could get some of those gusts 45 miles an hour. The worst of the wind again to our east and to our south. So foliage
we're not
currently. We've got a decent show of color here across Connecticut. While maybe this upcoming weekend you were hoping to do some leaf peeping, we'll have to see how many leaves stay on the trees after the wind and rain move through. So
no, I think it's going to hold
some
up.
rays of sun. Otherwise, we start drying out, breezy, not as windy on Tuesday. Highs in the lower 60s, mid 60s, mostly sunny, breezy as well into Thursday. That's when high temperatures will be in the 50s. We start Friday in the upper 30s, and then a rebound gets underway. Low 60s on Friday, mid 60s on Saturday, close to 70 by Sunday of next weekend.
Okay, thank you, Mark. We will see you soon. Now let's hit.
All right, that's not so bad. That's not so bad. All right, let's. Oh Lord, talking about Christopher Columbus, right? Because the holiday, Christopher Columbus, is tomorrow. It's Monday, and something happened to Christopher Columbus' boat. out in the Gulf of Mexico by Mexico. Let's watch and let's see what happened to Christopher Columbus replica ship. Yo, it's sinking. Look, the boat.
Máquinas, comedor, baños completamente inundados.
Oh no, Christopher Columbus. Your ship is going down for another, like a second time? This is a sign. This is definitely a sign. Bye.
Se fue, güey. El marigalante se fue.
Bye. Bye, they're not gonna. They're not gonna.
Lo que es cuarto de máquinas a un 80-85% del nivel del agua. Bien, nos retiramos. Somos los últimos en embarcar la embarcación. Personal de protección civil del estado.
Wow.
Toda la parte del piso inferior que es cuarto de máquinas, comedor, baños completamente inundados.
All right, he was saying all the like the kitchen area, the bathrooms, everything was underwater. And she's like, sound the alarm that is going under. I mean, yeah, that's it. It's gone.
Cerramos la parte interior del barco, lo que es cuarto de máquinas, a un 80-85% del nivel del agua.
He's like the 70-80% underwater down in the mechanical room. We are the only ones. We're the last ones to aboard the ship. Wow, that must have been scary. You know, it's a sign, right? The ship just don't sink. It's not even taking on rough waters or anything. It's everything. Everything's a sign. Everything is a sign. Now let's go ahead and continue on. Let's watch this. Another Jason A.
Dude, this is real. I am not comfortable with this Comet Atlas.
I know.
And I like, you know,
we've got Avi Loeb coming on to talk about it.
He's amazing. I had him on my podcast a long time ago. He put up with my.
A lot of people in the beginning were saying that it's bullshit. It's a comet. Why is he saying this? He's risking his reputation. But then as time's going on, they're going, "What? This is weird. This thing's really weird."
Well, it's the what? Okay, first of all, it's important to note that one thing that titillates my dumb ass is it just so happens the government shutdown coincides with when we could use the satellites on Mars to get pictures of that thing. So we're not getting pictures. They did release a picture of it yesterday.
Wait a minute. The government shutdown is stopping us from getting pictures of this thing?
That's stupid.
Yes.
That's insane.
That's insane. Now
that's so insane. They should open that up.
I mean, it seems like they just that's really weird. Did you see the images that just came in there? The Europeans got an image of it.
It's weird looking.
It's weird looking, but I don't know what a comet looks like. So
I don't know what a comet looks like, and I don't know why it's weirder than other comets.
But it does seem like it's going. It's like rolling in a weird way, but it's the gas, right? It's like it's what it's releasing is the weird part.
Well, the weird part is coming from the same part of the universe where the WOW signal came from.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's weird.
That's weird.
That's weird. Because that WOW signal, what was it, like 70 seconds long? Some very strange coded signal. It was 70 seconds long.
You know what else is weird is Jeremy Corbell said a bunch of people are going to start saying there's a mothership coming to Earth and don't believe him. Remember he was saying that?
Yeah, what's that all about? Why did he know that?
I don't know.
You got to tell people why you know something like that. You can't just say that.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, how do you know? How do you know that it's not really a mothership? How do you know they're going to say it's a mothership?
Well, Corbell, he's got to do this tightrope walk.
If you hear,
somehow he does have inside contacts, but if he says too much, he puts his whole life in danger.
It's such a spy TV show. Dude, so much of it seems like a spy TV show. So much of it seems like a well-written psyop.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
A few days ago, on October 3rd, it passed near Mars within 29 million kilometers, and this camera was able to detect it. And what we see is a ball of light with a slight extension, it doesn't look like a typical comet where you see a beautiful tail of dust stretching away from the direction of the sun. And there will be much better data. The best is yet to come from the high-rise camera on board NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. The data was taken, but because of the government shutdown, we haven't seen it. That particular camera is 0.5 meter in diameter and can give us 30-kilometer resolution of 3I Atlas, this new interstellar object. And that could potentially tell us how big it is, because the amount of sunlight that is reflected from it will set the brightest pixel in the image that we get from NASA. So everyone is eagerly awaiting that, because it will be the best, the highest resolution image we have. And you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
We've had sworn testimony where they'll say, yeah, I've seen beings. There's a movie coming out.
And the testimony says this is sworn testimony.
Sworn testimony. They're beings, and there's saucers or some craft or something. But there's a movie coming out pretty soon, if it's ever allowed to come out. I was in it a little bit, and they have former members of the CIA. You have others that positively say they were there, and they identified these things. They diagnosed them, and they saw them. They saw the craft, and there's enough people out there saying it, but they're just so suppressed, and the media moves on so fast on something. And I've been on so many of these interviews, and they're playing the theme from some crazy TV show or something before I come on, and they're just making a joke out of it. And I get it. People want to laugh about it.
I don't get it at all.
Yeah. I mean, I get the fact.
Seems like an absolutely, it seems
they just want to humiliate me. And
it's a deadly serious topic, objectively speaking. And if
it's a national defense issue, it's everything. It's everything. I mean, it's not a national, it's a world defense issue.
It's a lot more serious than Black Lives Matter or any of the other nonsense that we've, become obsessed with over the past generation. So, that tells you right there, that's part of an operation designed to discredit people who ask.
We see now that it passed near Mars, and there will be much better data. The best is yet to come from the high-rise camera on board NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. The data was taken, but because of the government shutdown, we haven't seen it. That particular camera is 0.5 meter in diameter and can give us 30-kilometer resolution of 3I Atlas, this new interstellar object. And that could potentially tell us how big it is, because the amount of sunlight that is reflected from it will set the brightest pixel in the image that we get from NASA. So everyone is eagerly awaiting that, because it will be the best, the highest resolution image we have. And a picture is worth 1,000 words. So we should all see what the data shows. And in the coming months, this object will pass close to another mission called JUICE on its way to Jupiter. It will also, that will happen during November. But just before that, on October 29th, it will pass closest to the sun. And then it will get warmed up. And the question is, how will it respond to this extreme environment close to the sun? And then on December, to be closest to Earth at a distance that is roughly 1.8 times the Earth-Sun separation. And after March 16, within 4 million kilometers from and the orbiter should news more about it. And together, very exciting because we've never thought about the potential implications of finding an object that big that could be something other than a rock, an icy rock. Just imagine that it was a technological object that selected this orbit to be aligned with the planets around the sun for a reason. It was designed by some intelligence, and we are not prepared for such a visit. And perhaps the wake-up call from 3i Atlas, this object, will alert us to be more aware of the potential risk.
Professor Loeb, I so love your passion for this topic and your excitement on it. I don't know if I could have taken your class at 8 a.m. when I was in college, but tell me a little bit how this government shutdown, I think all things come, you know,
and
full
you're in
circle,
Chicago, that's why.
How the government shutdown actually affects it. You mentioned that we haven't seen the images yet from NASA because of the shutdown, but how exactly?
That makes no sense.
Some people ask me whether that might indicate that there is evidence for alien intelligence out there because NASA is delaying the release of data. I said to them in response that this shutdown and the delay is not a sign of extraterrestrial intelligence, but more a sign of terrestrial stupidity. And with respect to why I'm so excited, you know, it's the question of are we alone is the most romantic question in science. And if we ever find a partner in our cosmic neighborhood, you know, it could give a new meaning to our existence, the way you go on a blind date and find a partner. What I really hope is that whoever comes on the other side of the table, when we go on a blind date with some alien technology, that would not be a blind date with a serial killer. You know, that's really the main issue here. And we should be aware of a black swan event where a very low probability encounter could have devastating consequences. So as of now, my recommendation is to establish an observatory in the northern hemisphere, not just the southern hemisphere, that like we have in terms of the Rubin Observatory in Chile, so that we can see the entire skies. That will cost us about $1 billion. Because the Rubin Observatory in Chile cost both the Department of Energy and the National Science Foundation about $1 billion. So if we have another one that is not just monitoring the southern sky, but also the northern sky, we'll have a full alert system covering the entire sky. And then if we ever have a verified encounter, then of course, the level of investment should rise by a factor of 1,000, because that's the level of investment we have every year for the military budgets. And you know, when there is a threat from outside the solar system, it could pose a serious matter for the international financial system. So it definitely requires more attention.
Jason A, thank you for that upload. Yeah, I mean, we were never alone. We were never alone. So to me, it's like we're just never alone. All right, let's see. We got some video here too. Well, we have one to listen to, about 5 minutes long. It seems like it doesn't have a picture to it, which is okay because I believe this is the president talking. Let's let me fix it here. Let me resize them. Okay, got that one. Just got a few to resize. And then we're going to go and finish off the show. Finish early so I can get to bed early tonight. And we all can enjoy our Sunday. Okay, so we're going to watch this one. So let's click it here. And let's see, we got any audio here?
Okay, you understand that?
Is the ceasefire going to hold? Are you confident?
Yeah, let me put it back because
President Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister, has not gone so far as to say the war is over. In your view, is the war between Israel and Hamas over?
War is over. The war is over. Okay, you understand that?
Mr. President, is the ceasefire going to hold? Are you confident the ceasefire will hold?
Say it.
Are you confident that the ceasefire is going to hold?
I think so. I think it's going to hold.
So, you know, President thinks it's going to hold. Let me call that music because they be using crazy ass music. President saying that the war is over between Gaza and Israel, which it was a one-sided war anyways, but I don't know. The whole thing is just really weird. But he is on his way to Israel, and I hope nothing funny happens to our president while he's over there, because he's really putting himself in the middle of danger. You know what I mean? I never trusted any of these people, and let's hope that President Trump comes out okay. You know, it's just it's too trustworthy times right now, and I just feel like there's a lot of still bad actors out there, and we shouldn't be putting Trump in dangerous positions, especially going out to Israel. Like, yeah, it's just I don't know. Just crazy. Yeah, they still play that crazy music. But Trump has no fear. Okay, hold on. I think he's speaking.
Head to Israel, where he'll oversee the final hours of the hostage exchange, before then heading on to Egypt, where he'll lead an international peace summit. Meanwhile, his Israeli counterpart, Benjamin Netanyahu, has given remarks this morning praising the IDF and the families of hostages. He also issued a warning that Israel's campaign against its enemies is not over.
I will not remain quiet until I bring them home. I would like to thank the IDF soldiers, the security forces, the bereaved families who lost their dearestly beloved. Those are the heroes who they bear the pain of them in their hearts and in our hearts. But I'd like to tell you that wherever we fought, we won. But to the same degree, I must say that the campaign has not ended.
Leaders from more than 20 countries, including the UK and France, will converge on Egypt for a global peace summit.
Like that. Look at that.
Has more from
Looks like Hunger Games.
Well, President Trump will really be arriving into a picture-perfect setting. Sharm el-Sheikh, known as the City of Peace, the Egyptian presidency here describing this as a peace summit, saying more than 20 different leaders will be invited. We know that the French, British, German, Italian leaders are coming. The Emiratis will be here, Qataris, Turkish, Jordanians, Indonesians, Pakistanis, a number of other leaders also expected here. And on the agenda, so much focus on phase one, the prisoner release, the hostage release, all of that. By the time President Trump gets here, will be in motion. It'll be happening. What the leaders gathered here to do, momentum of that phase one to drive through phase two. And one of the most important things on phase two is the international stabilization force to go into Gaza to provide the stability. How big is that force going to be? What countries is it drawn from? What mandate does it have on the ground? Will it have a huge? The deal for Israel is that Hamas Gaza is no longer a threat to Israel. So the Israelis will be looking at that stabilization force, making sure that Hamas doesn't have weapons, isn't able to exploit its tunnels. From a Palestinian perspective, they'll be looking at that stabilization force to make sure that Israel withdraws back to the periphery of Gaza, to make sure that that peace and stability continues, to make sure that the humanitarian supplies can get through safely. And the other piece of the picture going forward for Gaza is that technocratic Palestinian body that will emerge. Again, questions how that will happen. So all of those are the topics that will be expected to be addressed at this summit. There will be a signing. Precisely what is signed, we don't know. I think one of the things we can be absolutely sure of, President Trump will arrive here from Israel with the sound of applause for his role in the region ringing in his ears, and I think he's going to get a second and perhaps even more vibrant version of that in the room with all the leaders here, congratulating him for what is achieved so far. But part of that congratulations is all about convincing him to keep the momentum going, keep his engagement, and see through all the thorny details and issues to come.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust the world. Just too many weird things. You know, you had Christopher Columbus ship, like the replica, sink. And we have all these things going on at the same time, where we have a 3-eye atlas doing a close pass by of Mars. And like, what is this thing? You know, and then it so happens that we go into a shutdown, a government shutdown, and all of a sudden NASA can't do anything and can't take any pictures or nothing. Doesn't that sound stupid? That, like, the train of truth is going crazy over here. You hear the train? That train of truth, when it goes, it's like Rick, we know it's the truth. Like, that's stupid. NASA should continue to be doing their jobs. They should continue to be taking pictures and videos and anything information that we can get on that object that's going by. Like, they're not going to just stop because they're not getting money. Like, they're like, freeze! Don't touch anything. You're not getting paid. So you're not getting paid. You cannot do your work. And since you can't do your work, we're not taking any pictures. That sounds stupid. That sounds like a fucking Disney movie. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy, man. This world is wild. All right, let's check out this next one here.
What do you think she and also the pro-Palestinian protesters who are still taking to the streets at the moment? You just saw the peace deal is being arranged right now, so we're quite possibly, hopefully, looking at an end to the war. But you've got these protests who are trying to keep this alive here locally. I know that the Prime Minister's tried to get people to turn the temperature down, but they're not listening to that. Do you think they're just deliberately trying to incite to keep it going?
I believe they are trying to do that, and I think it clearly highlights that it was never about peace in Gaza. It was never about peace in the Middle East. It was about them advancing their own agenda, and their agenda is not being advanced by a peaceful situation in Gaza.
Okay, let's move on. Yeah. You've got another nasty poll today. It's a backward step, another one for Susan Lee. Your reaction to that?
Look, I mentioned this last week when another poll came out. We're only 4 or 5 months out from the last election. People have made their decision, and we were delivered a very clear message at that election. And we are working on ensuring that our policy restructure and our policy rebuild reflects not just the needs of Australians, but their aspirations. We're not going to sort of sit and worry about a moment in time. Our job is to develop that policy platform and ensure that we present a credible alternative to this terrible government.
It's not just one poll, though, and it's not just one different outlet. There's a trend emerging here. Is there concern, though, behind the scenes? Is there, a watch of this where you're thinking someone might have to make a move soon?
Not at all, because it's just so close to the last election.
Right.
We are 2.5 years from
dinner.
the next election. This is not the point in time where you actually spend your time worried about polling. This is the point where you spend your time building policy platforms.
Maria, it's been revealed Victorian CFMEU head Zach Smith, he's still meeting up with John Setka after all that's been said and done.
Shocking. This was uncovered last week more broadly in Senate estimates. There was some media reporting earlier in October. I mean, I don't understand what the Prime Minister and the Minister are doing here. And I actually don't understand what the Administrator is doing. The whole reason that there is an administration, and let's be clear, we wanted the CFMEU to be deregistered. Like, its entire conduct is unacceptable. But for them to now go that it is okay for Mr Zach Smith to not only force one of his organisers to meet with Mick Gatto, but for him to actually meet with John Setka is astounding.
Right. So is the allegation here that John Setka's still pulling the strings?
It appears so. Right. Why else would the Administrator be okay with Zach Smith meeting with him? And why then would the Minister be okay with that? Why hasn't the Minister reprimanded the Administrator? Why hasn't the Prime Minister done anything?
When the Minister says these are matters for the Administrator, what does that say to you?
Well, it says that, that this is a free pass for the old CFMEU to keep no oversight, there are no consequences, and the questions need to be asked whether this is actually a sham administration.
All right, that's Maria Kovacic. Appreciate your time, Maria. Thank you. We'll chat again next week.
Yeah, it's very interesting. We got a couple of more on this topic, so
high stakes project.
Sit back, hold back a little bit here. I got a couple of more set up for us to watch. We're living in very, very interesting times right now. Very interesting times. And is it a sign of something big to come? I think so.
Forward to tomorrow's historic moment when all Israeli hostages are set to be released, including the 20 that we pray are still alive. Joining us now is Israeli Ambassador to the United Nations, Danny Danon. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Jay.
You know, the interview we just had with Trey, very optimistic. If we wake up tomorrow morning here in the States or Tuesday morning and those hostages have been returned and accounted for, what's the next problem on the horizon? What's the next goal for Israel? And what's the next worry to move this forward?
First, Joey, everyone in Israel is holding their breath, praying for the release of the hostages. 8 hours from now, we should expect them to come home to reunite with their families. It's a miracle. 2 years after, to get them out of the dungeons of Hamas. So we are grateful for President Trump and for Prime Minister Netanyahu for the leadership and for the soldiers who sacrificed so much to bring us to this moment. But that is the easy part of the agreement, because it's an exchange. You know, we release terrorists. And by the way, look at the difference. We will celebrate citizens who were kidnapped coming home. They will celebrate terrorists who murdered innocent people getting out of jail. So you cannot make the equation. But after that, that's the difficult part, because the second phase requires the disarmament of Hamas. They should give their weapons. They should stop with everything they did for the last 20 years, and it's going to be much harder to implement it. And that's why we stayed in Gaza. We withdrew our forces to a certain point, not completely, because we have to wait, and we'll be very careful and cautious to see that they're actually implementing the second phase.
Ambassador, thank you so much for being here. I'm just wondering your sense of phase 2 and how much trust Israel has in Hamas. Again, we're dealing with a terrorist organization. There was reports of how they're already possibly positioning themselves to be Hamas under a new name and regain control. What does that look like if they don't disarm, if they don't give up control, if the Palestinian people are not allowed to move forward with new leadership? What does that look like?
Well, we have zero trust with them. You know, after October 7th, we know with whom we are dealing. We trust ourselves, we trust our soldiers, but we expect the international community to look at reality and understand that it's not enough to declare. You have to follow through. And it's not about the reconstruction of the building in Gaza. The international community has to make sure that they take out the radical elements from the Palestinian in Gaza, not allowing the radicals to take over. You know, 20 years ago, we pulled out from Gaza completely. We gave the keys to the Palestinian. We told them, build your own future. Hamas took over, and since then, they are there. So I think the challenge is to see that the money that comes in now is conditioned in the fact that Hamas is not part of the game anymore?
Yeah, Ambassador, obviously the biggest questions are the disarmament and the future governance of the phase two. But because we have you here, the ambassador to the United Nations, I wanted to get your reaction to what are we to think, because we just had the UN General Assembly here in New York, and you're talking about the international partners, a number of international delegations got up and walked out of Prime Minister Netanyahu's speech. And now, partnering with President Trump, who led and got this done, I would argue no other world leader could have gotten this done. We are about to witness history.
Absolutely. And you can make the distinction between leadership, like President Trump proved, and people who came to make a show, like President Macron came to the UN, made declarations, and went back to France. Or the Secretary General of the United Nations. He's flying, by the way, to meet President Trump in Egypt, but he wasn't there for the 2 years. You know, he never visited Israel. He never took any real actions to bring back the hostages. So I think we saw the difference between real leadership, real diplomacy, and the show of the UN. And I told my colleagues at the UN, regardless of all the declarations you are passing here, the war will not end with the hostages in Gaza. And they tried to put pressure on us and sanctions and isolated us, but we stayed strong. And hopefully we are seeing that we are having a closure now, but the hostages first, they come home.
Ambassador, my heart is in my throat for you, for everyone, for all of the families waiting for these hostages to come home. Some very powerful and hopefully joyous hours to come. And then after that, the president heads for Egypt. We spoke a little bit about this with Trey, about the leadership that he's pulled together. The countries Jordan, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, as well as European nations all gathering together with a focus on what comes next in Gaza. Even as we recognize the factions there on the ground in Gaza, have been known for civil war, as well as coming after Israel in the past.
I think it's very important what the president is doing, because it's not enough to declare that the war is over. You have to rebuild something in Gaza, and the involvement of moderate Arab countries, it's crucial, because you need someone who speaks the language, understands the mentality, and I think the involvement of Egypt, the UAE, and many other Muslim countries that share the same ideas with Israel, it's crucial for the success of the second phase. You need someone to be there and make sure that Hamas is not rebuilding their capabilities. Because as I said earlier, we don't trust them. They want to stay there, they want to regain power, and God forbid, to put a threat against Israel again.
I just want to follow up on that. You talked about moderate Arab countries, moderate Muslim countries. Qatar apparently played a big role in this, but they call the hostages detainees. So how much of this is playing the game of publicity and not, I guess, pissing off Hamas more, and how much of it is what they truly believe? When you have these meetings, and I know you can't say everything, but when you have these meetings with leaders from these countries that seem to almost play both sides of it, how genuine are they in a world where they accept Israel as their neighbor?
They should be stronger and braver. They know the truth. They have to face radical Islam in their own countries and in the region.
Yes.
But they're not doing it publicly.
Yeah.
And I think they should. They should tell their people what we saw on October 7th was not part of Islam. You know, the barbarism, the atrocities, and I think they should stop playing that game. We have seen it. Some countries stood with Israel, and we are grateful for that. The Abraham Accords, the countries which signed with us, stick to the accords during the war. And it shows that we have a strong bond with those countries. But the countries you mentioned, they have to make a choice. Either they support the radicals or they want to be partner for peace.
Well, I think I speak for the panel and say we all pray we wake up tomorrow morning and those hostages are back and as many as possible are alive and healthy.
Amen. Thank you.
Ambassador Danny Danon, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador.
Thanks so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click
All
here
right, let's
to
keep it moving.
subscribe to Fox News.
Let's keep it moving because I'm having dinner. So let's watch another Jason A.
And for this high-stakes project, that's what happened. Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, both longtime real estate developers, played key roles. The process here was unusual, to say the least.
Since October 7th, Israel's enemies have learned a hard truth. Those who attack us pay a heavy price. But those who partner with us advance progress and security for their peoples. President Trump just said it. It's also in the Bible. It says, those who will bless you will be blessed, and those who will curse you will be cursed. And that's actually what is happening. We want the blessings. I think we've done a lot in the past 2 years to end the curse. We're not finished, but we've done a lot. And we've done a lot together to end the curse.
Absolutely. This peace plan has an opportunity to change the future of the Middle East forever. What President Trump has presented is the framework for an agreement that could lay a foundation for more normalization deals with Israel. And so there's been a lot of instability across the Middle East, and there's a real longing for many that we talk to across the region, civilians here in Israel, civilians that we talk to in Gaza, for a new chapter. And the hope here is that President Trump's peace plan is not just a peace plan to end the war inside Gaza, but an opportunity to press the reset button in the Middle East and see more stability and prosperity across the region.
Witkoff and Kushner both first worked not from the State Department, but from their homes in Florida, making calls to Israel and other nations in the region, such as Turkey, Qatar, and Egypt, all as they tracked statements from Hamas and kept Trump informed. And then there was a breakthrough.
We're very close to a deal in the Middle East.
I agree with you. Thank you, Witkoff. I've had the great honor for the last 10 months of working with Steve very closely, even more so in the last month. And I have to tell you, it's been an honor to me to work with such a special man who's approached this impossible task with a full heart and with a full commitment. And when things got tough and we ran into brick walls, every time that happened, we just said, let's make a new plan, let's try again. And that's what being partners with Steve was like. And I also have to say, working with President Trump on this, his commitment to seeing peace, to seeing the hostages return home, to seeing Israel secure and safe, and to seeing the entire Middle East stable and thriving is unmatched. Thank you. Thank you. That's right. Thank you, President Trump, for the amazing job you did and for your commitment to bring this horrible conflict to an end. October 7th for me was a shattering day. My wife and I were at a friend's wedding in Colorado, and I remember hearing the news, and I just went to the hotel room, and I was looking at videos and trying to speak to whoever I could to get information, and I just stayed there all night, and I cried. Seeing some of these acts that were committed on that day made me think about how fortunate we are to have a society with rules and laws and people with morals. And seeing these horrific, barbaric acts shocked me to my core in a way that I'll never be the same. Since then, my heart has not been complete. And it's been a tremendous burden that I felt to see these hostages come home. To see their families get the closure they deserve and to end this nightmare. And also to see the suffering end for the people in Gaza who, for most of them, were experiencing this through no fault of their own other than being born into a situation that was horrific. We're not going to celebrate tonight. We're going to celebrate on Monday when the phase one gets into conclusion. But what I did come here tonight to say was that I couldn't be more proud to see the way that the state of Israel and its people have carried themselves through this traumatic, unthinkable, horrific experience. Instead of replicating the barbarism of the enemy, you chose to be exceptional. You chose to stand for the values that you stand for. And I couldn't be prouder to be a friend of Israel, somebody who supports Israel, and somebody who fights very strongly to see Israel survive, succeed, and to achieve its fullest potential. Thank you. All I know, and I have complete confidence in this, is that what will rise from this trauma will be a level of greatness, a level of achievement, a level of impact on the world, a level of leadership that Israel has never seen. And I encourage you all to go forward, to seize that opportunity. And as we close this chapter, let's learn from the challenges and the pain of the last few years. And let's do our best to make Israel, to make the region, to make the world as peaceful, to build bridges of understanding, to eliminate hatred in ourselves, hatred for others, and to really lead with love and understanding. So I thank you all for the tremendous commitment you've all shown, for the support that you have given to these amazing families through such a horrific time. And just the final thing is, I just want to thank the amazing soldiers of the IDF. Without their heroism and brilliance and bravery, this deal would not have been possible. So really want to give a big tribute to them. So God willing, we've accomplished the first phase. It's been very, very rocky. Steve and I will one day tell the stories. They'll make you laugh. They'll make you cry. It was crazy. I noticed he had no four-letter words in his speech because I think he used them all up in the negotiation. But I think that it's a really great thing, hopefully, to celebrate Monday. So really an honor to be with all of you tonight.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's 24 hours. Are they going to get the whoever's left as survivors, I guess? I mean, something tells me it's not over. It's not over. This is I don't know what is going on, but to me it seems like it's a trap. It's a trap. And gotta be careful. All right, so what else do we have before we have to keep on moving along and enjoying the rest of the night? I do got a few videos here to watch. Let's see. Let's see what's here. This is Liberal Hive Mind. Let's go ahead and check this one out. It got dark for a second there, huh? Because I have the lights out, so it's gonna break up like that. All right, let's see what's up with this.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. The corporate media honestly is a psychologically abusive force. It's so obvious that their intention is not to inform the people, but rather dishonestly manipulate them. And you can usually tell by seeing how one of these corporate journalists acts when they're in one of those positions, sitting in that seat at CNN, and how they are after they leave. Chris Cuomo's a great example, right? He got fired from CNN, and then all of a sudden, he's like a normal human being again. But you know, some people, I guess, they can't let go of the tactics. And nowhere is that more obvious than what we're seeing with little Don Lemonhead here, little Don Lemon, little Donnie Lemon Boy. This guy gets fired from CNN in quite the disgraceful manner. And instead of going on the path of a redemption arc, he just continues on doing exactly what he learned to do at CNN. But what he doesn't seem to realize is that that only works in your cushy little corporate studio. In the real world, your pathetic, dishonest manipulation tactics don't work. You will get exposed. And that's exactly what's happening. We've got Don Lemon running around as a little street journalist, but instead of being on a redemption arc asking asking good questions. He's asking leading questions. He's acting arrogant and clearly trying to push propaganda, and it's backfiring in his face so spectacularly. He is looking like such a monumental doofus. It's unfreaking believable. And of course, with me saying that, boy, do I got some
Media.
clips to show
That's
you
a
guys.
problem with
We
the
got some
United
stuff to
States
get
and
into.
media.
So let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so let's
Media
first start off with Don
antagonizing.
Lemon in Chicago. Here he is trying to educate people about immigration law. And when I say educate, I mean propagandize. He's trying to aggressively mislead them. But what he's saying is so idiotic and makes no frickin' sense that the people that he's interacting with, which honestly seem kind of sympathetic to his cause, even they call him out on his BS.
Crossing the border illegally is not a crime?
No, it's not a criminal act. It's a misdemeanor.
So why are they being sent back and saying that they're breaking the law?
That's the point.
Okay, as somebody that
We don't know if they're breaking the law because they won't tell. There's no due process. Where's the evidence? That's the whole point. And if they are breaking the law,
They're
most
here.
people say,
That's the
okay,
evidence.
then they need to go if they're criminals. But if they're not, why are they being rounded up and sent out? Especially when he promised to deport the criminals, and now he's not doing that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going.
Misdemeanor is not a crime. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So misdemeanor is not
It's
a
not
crime?
a criminal act. No, if you get charged with a misdemeanor, that's not a criminal
why
act.
get charged at all then, if it's not a criminal act?
Because we have different levels of crime. Everything is not the same.
So it is crime.
No,
It's just
we have
different level.
different levels of. I shouldn't say crime, but it's not. It's not a crime. You're not breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law, but it's not a criminal act.
Yes, it is a criminal act.
No,
the law, but it's
you're not breaking the law.
The misdemeanor is not breaking the law.
No.
If you're speeding, drinking, get pulled over, DUI.
That's not a criminal act. Well, no, if you're speeding, is a misdemeanor.
It's a
Right.
misdemeanor. So it's still breaking the law.
Okay, well, if you want to qualify that, we're doing semantics.
Because
But
why
what
would
I'm
you
saying,
get pulled over?
but what I'm trying to tell you is everything is not the same. It's all not one thing.
But is it the law?
What is it? The law that what?
Is it a law to come over
there a
legally?
law?
Is there a law?
There are rules that processes that you should follow. Yes, so you're breaking rules. You're breaking the rules, but you're not necessarily breaking a law.
So what happens when you
Breaking the rules.
Then you get
What the
suffer
hell?
the consequences. But the consequences should not.
It's law, not
No one
rules.
is saying no one should suffer the consequences. You guys are getting things mixed up.
By the end of it, he's left speechless. This guy is unbelievable, the way he's trying to push this semantic trick. Oh, well, technically, it's just a misdemeanor, therefore, it's not a crime, it's not technically illegal. What does that even mean? Not to mention, illegal entry into the country is a federal crime under Title 8 U.S. Code Section 1325. It's not a misdemeanor. You don't just get a ticket
Crazy
for it. No,
stuff.
it's punishable by jail and deportation. It's right there in the law. And I find it also a little bit ironic considering these same leftoids that are
rule,
arguing
not
that
a
illegal
law.
entry into the
No,
country
it's
is just a
law.
misdemeanor. Yet look at their stance on January
Oh.
6th. They wanted to ruin all
Yeah.
those people's
This-
lives
this
over
guy's a
misdemeanor
doofus.
trespassing charges. Not to mention, they all have locks on their homes, right? Pretty sure you can't just walk into Don Lemon's private home and he'd just be okay with it. Oh, well, you know, it's a misdemeanor, so make yourself comfy. Completely idiotic. But suddenly illegal immigration isn't a crime. Brilliant argument,
into your
Don
house. It's
Lemon.
just a
This right here,
misdemeanor.
folks, is the type of
just gonna
dishonest
maybe take
garbage
a-
that they teach you
maybe
at
less than
CNN, that
$500
they try to
worth,
pass as
like a stance
journalism.
of
And Don
misdemeanor.
Lemon, well, he's been fully programmed. And clearly he's been unable
you
to
make me dinner
undo
while
it.
I'm
And it's
standing
just
in your
incredible
shit?
because he thinks he's slick.
It's
But his
just a
manipulative
misdemeanor.
ways are so obvious to anybody who's got above room temperature IQ. I got another clip here, which again really showcases his dishonesty. He's interacting with somebody outside the ICE protest, and watch how he tries to reinterpret what the guy says.
What do you think when you see all this happening?
I think that it's inexcusable. I see people that are coming here that are showing violence, are showing hatred, intolerance, people that are blocking vehicles and damaging vehicles and throwing bottles at vehicles and throwing fireworks.
You're not happy with these protesters, right?
I'm not. Most definitely not. I think what we see here today with the state police and the Cook County Sheriff's presence is showing a show of force to keep them off the road.
You go here because I wanted to see that.
So you have the Cook County Sheriff's, Illinois State Police, Broadview Police, and other local jurisdictions. And earlier, you weren't. I don't think you were here quite for this, but they had locked arms, the protesters, and they attempted to block traffic, and for no reason. And like they're not blocking, like so. They gave you a right to free speech. They gave you a right to all that. But what you don't have the right to do is to threaten violent acts. I've been here and I've seen threatened on the ICE agents. I've seen people threaten to abduct them, kidnap them, hurt them, kill them, and that's unacceptable. We live in America where you have First Amendment right, freedom of speech, regardless of what your political opinion is. But what you don't have is the right to instill and put political violence on somebody, to threaten violence.
I agree with you 100%. And also, even if you're a citizen or not, you have the right to due process. You understand why these people are protesting, but you don't agree with some of the tactics that they're using?
I understand why they're protesting, but I also wouldn't say I necessarily agree with all their message. I think us as a
That's what I just said. You don't agree with some of the tactics that they're...
No, but not even just the tactics, just like the crux of the actual message of the protest itself.
Did you catch it? At the end there, he tells the guy, so you actually agree with me that what Trump is doing is unconstitutional. You just don't like the protesters' tactics. No, that's not what he said. Not at all. The guy then challenges it, and then Don Lemon says, oh no, that's what I was saying. No, that is not what you were saying. You liar. You tried to confuse him and misframe his argument, and you got caught in real time. Holy moly. Don Lemon is a showcase for dishonest left-wing journalism. You can't even call it journalism. We call it journalism. You are a clown, Don Lemon, and we could all see it so clearly. You are the perfect, shining beacon, shining example of being a dishonest, slimy, little fake news pusher. This is how these people operate. Framing, word games, semantics, mislabeling, constant misdirection and contradiction. They know the facts aren't on their side, but that won't stop them, no. So they'll try to redefine terms, right? We're not racist. It's impossible to be racist because we've changed the definition of racism. It's disgusting. And it's how the entire coordinated media machine operates. This is what they do. That's why we've got clips like this.
There's no Antifa. This is an entirely imaginary organization. There is not an Antifa.
Like, I don't even know what Antifa is. There is no group.
It's not even like far-right groups like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. Compared to right-wing extremists, Antifa-linked violence is rare and limited.
It isn't an organization. It is in many ways mythology.
It's not like the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers, sort of defined terrorist organizations with leadership that leads violence.
It's not a highly organized movement. It's a moniker. It's not a unified group like the Proud Boys are. Things like Antifa are things that are thought up.
It's all in this guise of going after Antifa, which is nothing. There's no organization called Antifa.
Nobody's a member of Antifa because it doesn't exist. They are just declaring into existence something that doesn't exist.
There is no Antifa organizations. So maybe that's good for social media, but it really is non-existent.
They exist on the internet in chat rooms and in 4chan and Discord and places like that where they run discussion boards, trade tactics, documents, things like that. But none of them are called Antifa.
All the media talking heads, media puppets, all pushing the same easily debunked propaganda garbage. Antifa is a myth. Crossing the border is not a crime, it's a misdemeanor. Antifa doesn't exist. They're not a terrorist organization that literally burns down neighborhoods on our behalf. No, they don't exist. We're not racist. We just want equity. We're not communists. We just want social equity. We're not hateful. You're just a fascist. It's straight out of 1984. That's exactly what it is. This is the legacy media, a factory of deception. They don't report on the facts. They construct illusions and narratives. They take advantage of low information people who cannot think for themselves, cannot process information, and they feed them these weaponized narratives that are designed to control how they think, how they speak, and most importantly, that are designed to be able to mobilize them as an activist force. And that's why we have to beat the corporate legacy media. We have to keep doing a better job as independent media outlets, especially moving into the tech age. We don't want them to consolidate power. Imagine if they controlled the flow of information as they were so desperately trying to do, controlling all social media outlets, controlling the algorithms. That is George Orwell's 1984. These networks cannot be trusted to properly inform the people because their job is to misinform. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right, that was a good one. Good upload there. Let's keep it moving. Let's see what's next here. Uh-oh. We got a warning. Oh shit, this is the helicopter. Helicopter. Look at it doing. Oh shit.
I changed his mind.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh shit. The hell happened? Boom. Damn, I hope they okay. Holy shit. Wow, that was in Huntington Beach, California. Wow. I wonder who was in that helicopter. Like, that was crazy. Like, it just, like, lost control. Like, right here, it's like something pulled it up.
This is mine. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Oh, Lord. What the hell happened to the helicopter? I think the palm tree saved that helicopter. If they're alive, that palm tree definitely helped it. And it didn't explode. So the chances of, I don't know if they survived. Yeah, now I'm curious. I think we watch, let me see, hold on. There was, damn. Let me see if I can go back and get that again. Yeah, here. Alright, this is close up. Oh, then it went up. Oh, shit. It crashed.
Get in! Get in! Get in! Hey! Go! Come in! Get off the way!
Oh, shit. Oh my god, on the stairwell it landed. Holy smokes. Yo, what a perfect way to land anyway, you know, if everyone survives, this is one fucking lucky landing. Oh my goodness. You know, police are there right away. Like, there's people running to the helicopter. Look, they're saving them. I don't know what's going on. Holy shit, imagine being there. This is like really good footage. Damn, guys, look at this. A helicopter landed on, I guess it was a walkway. Holy shit, on the steps of a walkway, the helicopter landed. Oh my goodness. What's going on with all these helicopters? There was like a show or something? They were going to show off their helicopters or something? Like, well, can we play this back again? Yes, we can. Yeah, let's watch this one more time. This deserves another watch. Holy shit! This, like, viewer discretion advice for sure. You can tell he's scared. Look, he runs back to the elevator. He sees the kid. Oh, you see somebody there? Someone's on the step. Like there was someone on the step. I think it was from the fucking helicopter that ended up on the step when it crashed. Holy shit! Look at the lifeguards. The lifeguards. We got there quick. And that's the people, some of the people you see running towards it. Holy smokes. You see someone's carrying someone here? Like, I don't know what this is about here. I don't know if it's a kid or what it is. I don't know. Holy shit. That's crazy. You don't see that every day. You don't see that every day. You just never see that every day. That's crazy. See, I see all these helicopters in the parking lot. I'm assuming that this helicopter was supposed to land in the parking lot and something happened, like engine-wise or something, and it shot the helicopter up and then came back down. I don't know. Holy smokes, what has been going on? Let's see. Oh Lord, something going on over. I gotta check this out. I mean, this one looks interesting, but this one's more important.
Gunfire in the darkness. Dozens of soldiers killed in heavy shooting along the Afghan-Pakistani border Sunday.
Oh, not
It follows
again.
airstrikes on Kabul and eastern Afghanistan by Pakistani forces Thursday. Tensions between the two nations have been on the rise since the Taliban assumed power in Afghanistan in 2021. They further escalated after Islamabad accused the Taliban of harboring militants who've carried out attacks against Pakistan and demanding the Taliban take action. Afghanistan's foreign minister saying Sunday the war between the two stopped because Saudi Arabia and Qatar stepped in. He said they achieved their military operation and want, quote, zero tension, but have other ways of handling the situation if Pakistan refuses to engage in dialogue. As Pakistan's foreign minister, Ishaq Dar, expressed concern over what he called unprovoked firing along the border, a serious provocation by the Taliban government. He said Pakistan's airstrikes were meant to neutralize terrorists operating from within Afghanistan and expects the Taliban government to take, quote, concrete measures against terrorists attempting to derail Pakistani-Afghan relations. As a result of the fighting, Pakistan has closed its border crossings with Afghanistan, leaving many stranded. This Afghan refugee says he's stuck, along with women, children, and the elderly, where there is no food, no water, and no money to survive on, even for a few days. In a statement, Saudi Arabia has called for restraint between the two nations. Iran says it's ready to help ease tensions as well.
Okay.
Oh no!
No!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
5 people were injured in that.
Today around 2 p.m., Huntington Beach Fire MPD and Marine Safety responded to a reported helicopter crash between Beach Boulevard and Twin Dolphin. Units arrived on scene. We found 1 helicopter up against the bridge. 5 individuals were transported to local hospitals in unknown condition. Currently, NTSB is en route. They'll be conducting the investigation. And that's all we have right now. As more information becomes available,
that helicopter's expensive too. Holy shit. That's crazy.
This helicopter part of the Cars and Copters event that is scheduled to go on tomorrow. We also want to say that the 5 people that were transported to the hospital, they are in an unknown condition right now. But as far as we know, there has been no further change in those conditions.
Wow, that's nuts. They were a part of a car show. It was a car and whatever helicopter show that they were going to show off their helicopters, like how they show off their cars, and like, you know, it's like a meetup type of thing. Something happened to the engine. Something sounded weird. Like something really sounded weird. I heard in the video. I don't know if you guys caught it, but I did. And then the way it slammed, it slammed in the most perfect spot. If you're gonna have an accident, that's like the perfect spot, because the palm tree, it caught the palm tree, right? And then by it breaking on the palm tree, it slowed down the momentum. And since it slowed down the momentum, and then it crashed on the downslope of a stairs. Might as well put a pillow there, you know, but it was a hard landing. Their condition inside, who knows, but they're fucking alive. 5 people alive after a helicopter crash, like on the sidewalk, like on, I know those overpath, they call them like those, the walkways, the overpath. We have one here, and it's just to cross over. Let's say they were crossing over the highway, so that way they're not interrupting by stopping the flow of the traffic. They did that little that walkway overpath, so people could go from the beach to wherever they're parked at on the other side. That fucking helicopter crashed. Like, that's signs. That's wild. That's wild. And there was a plane crash, I believe. A small plane crash. I think it was like 9 people in the plane. I think they're dead. There was a plane crash earlier today too. I don't have a video of that one. I don't have it. Can I pull it up? Do I want to? We could look for it. But let's keep it moving though, because there's a lot more to watch for sure. All right, here we go. Let's get a little on the light side of things. Damn, the helicopter freaked me out, man. Fuck. I wasn't expecting all that. Like this video is gonna be fucking. It's gonna be fucking good video. Whoever's watching it and rewatching it, thank you for rewatching. Let's check this video out. What's happening here? It's a pumpkin.
Where'd that come from? Dude, I was kind of like following it, and it kept, when I went to grab it over here, it took off.
The wind. It's pretty much a pursuit. He's trying to deflate it. Oh no, that would be part of like a reality TV show, right? Like, shoot the motherfucker.
It keeps filling up. Oh my god.
It keeps filling up. It keeps filling up. He's about to puncture it.
We're currently struggling with it right now.
We're currently struggling with it. Yo, cop bloopers. Yo, the police. Yo, they're gonna put him in the back. No! Mr. Pumpkin is under arrest. No, read him his rights. You have rights. You have rights. I'm gonna be the Karen, alright? I'm gonna be the Karen. You have rights. Don't say anything. Talk to the attorney first. Talk to the attorney. Remember, talk to the attorney. You don't want to talk shit to them, okay? Don't tell them shit. I'm telling you. Don't tell them shit. Look, look, they're hurting you. Damn. He still can't get it in. Motherfucker, I'm still not in the car. You can try to get me in, but I'll stay my ass out. You ain't getting me in this motherfucking car. This is a trap. This is a trap. It's a trap. Oh Lord, they're a trap. no, not. Oh. Here, it poof. Like, tap. Ooh, way crash. Yo, some of these people are gonna have PTSD for sure. That little kid's gonna have PTSD. That little kid fell a helicopter. Look, just playing on the ground. Oh. This guy's scared. He's like, fuck that. I ain't gonna take care of him. Fuck that. At least the lifeguards were there. You know, so at least they can be first, medicine. But it seemed like a lot of people tried to help. And they're lucky this didn't blow up. It landed in the most. It hit the palm tree. That's why it's off from the landing. That palm tree saved them. Because if it didn't hit that palm tree, it would have slammed harder and it could have exploded. But since it hit that palm tree, it slowed the momentum of the crash, and it just kind of like it crashed, but it's not like the worst case scenario. Like these people could survive. Yeah, they're fucked, but damn, they're gonna have a tale to tell. And how they survive this. This is some Final Destination shit. You know what I mean? That's wild. Imagine, like, oh my god, that's crazy. And then we're looking at from a helicopter. That's crazy. And we're looking at helicopters from a helicopter. Okay. It's a car show. It was a helicopter show. You show off your helicopters, and that helicopter looked pretty expensive. That looked pretty expensive. That's not a cheap helicopter. That's a pretty expensive helicopter. All right, let's get out of here. Let's see what else I have here. Let me see what this is about. Let me turn off the volume on it. See where they're at. Give me 1 sec. See if I can get this up. I was just looking at some footage for the protest shit. Some protest shit. I could take this off. I took the volume off on it. I don't know if they're playing music or not.
Across the street. He's back. Okay, I'm gonna go check.
I don't know what's going on here. I see a cat inflatable. Is this part of the furry thing? I see a cat. Do you see an inflatable cat in this picture? I see an inflatable cat right here. What? I'm not high enough. Yeah, it is an inflatable cat. I just saw it pass by this camera. What the is going on here? There it is. You see, it's standing right there. The inflatable cat on the top corner. But I saw it in the so all these are in the same area. They're just standing in different spots. Oh, look, the frog. What is going on here? We have animals we have a frog, we have a cat. What else we have? Is it gonna turn into a furry convention? Yo, this is that would be crazy, right? Because didn't this the boyfriend of the killer, whatever she is, was part of that clan, the furry clan. That's crazy. See, that's why I say yeah. The look more. There's more. There's a pink one. There's a guy in a suit over there too. What is going on here? Oh, it's Halloween coming up. That's right. Fuck. You guys like my setup? I have a nice little setup tonight. I found this pumpkin. Nice little pumpkin here I have lit up for Halloween. But that's what's going on, and that's the protests, I guess, that continue to happen pretty much on a daily basis. It's just gonna keep happening until you start putting these motherfuckers in jail. But until then, we still gotta deal with this bullshit. You know, this guy dressed as a chicken here in the middle. That says it all. Another one's an alien. Like, it's an illegal alien. I don't know. Maybe the pink things is an illegal alien. So we gotta, like, I don't know. We have what is that? A shark? A pink shark. I don't know, man. I'm not high enough. I'm just not fucking high enough. Look, dinosaurs. What the fuck is going on here? Look, they're dinosaurs. They're chilling. Even the dog's like, what? Yo, what the fuck you brought me to? You fucking sick bitch. That's why I don't like your ass. That's why I'm gonna fucking continue to piss on your fucking shoes. Motherfucker. Bring me to this crazy shit. If I was a dog, that's what I would be doing. And I'm like, keep bringing me to this crazy shit. And watch what's gonna happen to your motherfucking purse. You better hide that bitch, because I'll find that bitch. Oh, Lord. It looks like one of the propellers broke loose. Yeah, something broke. But you heard it? You heard the backfire. It hit like a poof. Like, it was just a weird, like, sound. And, man, what a perfect landing to land. They will definitely have a tale to tell. For sure. 5 individuals. And then one was on the sidewalk. Like, landed on that cement. That cement. I mean, he's gonna have a fucking, like, he's probably the most serious is probably him, because that's a hard hit. But if they all survive, that's a blessing, man. But weird shit has been happening. You know, we had the Christopher Columbus ship sink off of Mexico. You know, we have this weird deal that's going on with the Israelis. So, I mean, we're living in very unique times. That's very true. All right, let's see what else I have for us to watch. Yeah, we can watch this. This watching some history, some bones, some whale bones. Let's check this out.
While en route to the North Pole, a Russian photographer captured this otherworldly scene, a necropolis of scattered whale bones. In stunning drone footage, Vadim Makarov weaved his drone in and out of the assemblage of bleached ivory. Around 115 miles below the Arctic Circle, visitors have likened the mysterious valley to an open-air cathedral. The cemetery in Russia's remote region of Yanrakniot is one of several whale graveyards in the region. One of the most well-known sites to spot the ocean mammal's bones is the mysterious area known as Whale Bone Alley in the remote Russian region of Chukotka on Idegran Island. According to the Ministry for the Development of the Russian Far East and Arctic, archaeologists who originally discovered the bizarre scene of scattered whale bones, ribs, and vertebrae say the sanctuary was built in the 14th century by whalers who would supposedly meet on the island to share experiences and conduct rituals. The site was also once a supposed refuge for Eskimo whalers. And although the whaling industry has fallen off, indigenous people in the Chukotka region still hunt the massive mammals today. According to the International Whaling Commission, at least 15 indigenous communities in the area still hunt whales, and it's more than just a cultural practice. It's actually a matter of survival. Makarov said locals in the remote region aren't well supplied and hunt the whales for food, as it can sometimes take several months for other food supplies to arrive. The International Whaling Commission says some reindeer herding families will even use whale intestines to make cloaks. People looking to see Whale Bone Alley for themselves might have some difficulty getting to the site. The graveyard is around 62 miles from Gamble, a small U.S. city on St. Lawrence Island, off the coast of Alaska. Taking a cruise ship might be the easiest, otherwise adventurers will have to take a plane, an off-road vehicle, and then a boat to get to the remote island.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, pretty cool too, but why would the fuck would I want to go see Bones? I just saw the video, so I can already tell, you know. It's just, we're living in very unique times. I'm telling you. It's just very, very unique times. We got some news coming out of the Middle East through Fox News. So give me 1 second to set it up. I'm gonna watch this because this is just it's just coming through the news. This is just uploaded right now, so we can watch it together.
Yeah, we're joined now by Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst. He's live in Tel Aviv, and of course he has the latest. Trey?
Yeah, hey guys, good afternoon. It was a joyous celebration here in Hostages Square overnight as hundreds of thousands of Israelis were in this center part of Tel Aviv. They were cheering and celebrating, hoping it will be their final hostage rally. The families of the remaining hostages still in Hamas captivity were joined by President Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and his daughter, Ivanka Trump. You could see how many people were in the crowd. We're talking about hundreds of thousands, and we spoke with President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, just after. Take a listen. What does this moment mean to you?
It's the moment of my life, a blessing in my life. And I couldn't be more thrilled to work for the greatest president out there, Donald J. Trump. He brought him home.
Anticipation is high in these final hours. The hostages are expected to be picked up by the Red Cross inside Gaza and then transferred to Israeli forces. Then they'll be reunited with family members and flown by helicopter to local hospitals for medical treatment. The brother-in-law of one hostage, Omri Miran, is anxiously awaiting his return.
What I want to give Omri in those first moments is the ability to choose what he wants to do, what he wants to say, how he wants to act. For 2 years, he was deprived of the freedom to act on his own volition, of the freedom to choose what he wants. So I'm going to give that to him. If he wants to embrace me, I will embrace him back. If he wants to laugh, I will laugh. If he wants to cry,
If he wants to slap
together.
you, how about if he wants to slap you?
Hostages are set to be exchanged
You
for
let
nearly
him?
2,000 Palestinian prisoners. 142 of them will be deported abroad, 100 released into the West Bank, 5 to East Jerusalem, and 3 to Gaza. Inside the Gaza Strip, Palestinians continue to return to their homes in areas
What
formerly
homes?
controlled by the IDF. New images show the scale of destruction within the enclave.
I don't see much of a home.
We fled our home under artillery fire, leaving everything behind. The house was destroyed with all our belongings inside. We have nothing left. No clothes, no bedding, not even money to go anywhere. Here I am, pushing the cart with my own hands, just trying to move forward.
That's crazy.
Tomorrow, President Trump will arrive here in Israel. He's expected to address the Israeli Knesset before traveling to Egypt to finalize his peace plan. Guys, back to you.
Trey, thanks for the report. You're there on the ground. You're among people. What is the sentiment there among everyone? I know they're incredibly excited to get the hostages back. Is anyone taking objection to some of the prisoners that Israel's having to release? Is there any sentiment, positive or negative, right there on the ground?
What the hell? They're dancing with a
President
fake Trump.
has made
What the
history
hell
with
is
this
this?
deal. It's very rare in the Middle East that you have both Israelis and Palestinians
That's
celebrating
weird.
the
I
same
don't
thing.
know.
But we've talked with Israeli civilians and Palestinian civilians, and they are thrilled that
Lord.
President Trump has been able to get this deal across the line. He had his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, fly to Egypt last Wednesday, and we're told that the president was on the phone with interlocutors making sure that this agreement got done. Now, there are some challenging parts. The Israelis will have to release thousands, around 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, but they are getting the hostages back, and that has been the primary goal for the Israeli military since the beginning of this conflict.
Trey, you partially addressed this, but I want to dig a little deeper in terms of the Palestinian sentiment here. You said that they were also hailing this as a great victory and giving some credit to President Trump. But what's your sense of the buy-in of the Palestinian people in terms of what's next for them? Who's going to be in charge? Who's going to lead those people? Have you heard anything from your sources on what the Palestinian people would like to see for the region?
It's a great question, and they are uniquely tuned into American politics. Bill Hemmer and I, a few months ago went into Gaza to see the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation sites where they were providing aid to Palestinian civilians. And some of the kids there were chanting, "Trump, Trump, America." And it gives you a sense that they realize what's happening abroad. They understand that these decisions directly impact their lives. And I've talked with some civilians in the aftermath of this deal going forward, and they're open to any sort of idea that's going to bring them some level of peace and stability. They've lived through 2 years of war, and they're looking for some sort of bright future. The deal that President Trump is offering here that's currently on the table, as it continues to progress, will ultimately usher in a technocratic government for the Gaza Strip. And we're talking about more than 2 million Palestinian civilians. This is going to give the Americans and the Israelis the ability to figure out who could be a moderate leader for Gaza, ultimately rebuild the Gaza Strip, and then give the Palestinian civilians who are living there an opportunity at a different path. And so there is a lot of hope in the aftermath of this plan moving forward. And there are questions about what comes next in the region. But in the immediate future, we are looking at the release of these hostages in the next few hours. And already you are seeing Palestinians, as you saw in those images, return to their homes because the bombing has stopped. The war is now over.
Trey, you stand in a class of your own, matched by none other in reporting this story. You have been there since day one with exceptional coverage on October 7th and every single day for the last 2 years plus. And
I know, right, Seven?
Earlier, we're about
the energy
to
just feels
this
weird.
Historical moment. Put it in context for us. And if you have any more details about the role that President Trump actually did play in all of this, throughout all.
For some reason, I feel like it's forced.
Yeah, absolutely. My team and I were here on the morning of October 7th along the Gaza border. People were killed just in front of us. They died before our eyes. And we've been covering this story ever since, going into Gaza with the Israeli military to see some of the fighting with Hamas firsthand. We've covered the humanitarian angle. We've talked with leadership all around, across the board, to get an understanding of what was happening during this 2-year war. And I think President Trump did something very important when he spoke alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu when he came out with this 20-point peace plan. He humanized Israelis and Palestinians. And that's the biggest takeaway that I have in all of this. To find a solution for the future of this region, it will require the humanization of the people involved and to look at things on the ground exactly as they are. And like we talked about, the president sent his Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, here and kept them here to make sure this agreement went into effect. Because for the Israeli people, the people behind me that are here in Hostages Square, they've been waiting for 2 years for their loved ones to come home. And when they're ultimately released from Gaza, and now that the war has stopped within the enclave, the ceasefire that the president put together is holding, it creates a new chapter for the region and a fresh start, a restart button, if you will, for the Middle East. And that's exactly what the president is looking to do here. When you talk with world leaders all around the world, but specifically in this region, a region that I've covered for more than 7 years, people respect the president. And they know that he's going to do what he says he is going to do. And that is something that U.S. officials have stressed to Fox. When we've talked to them about this very deal, they said that the president himself, President Trump, was able to build trust with two sides that had no trust. And that's the reason they were able to get this agreement together and across the finish line.
Trey, Molly here. I think Griff alluded to what I had planned to ask you, which was because you were there on October 7th, and now we're going to see the hostages released here in these coming hours. What a remarkable day of history ahead. Part of it is, as you talked about, President Trump bringing these world leaders together. He'll also be heading to Egypt. A great number of leaders from the Middle East, from Europe, all gathering there to look forward. Your thoughts on what that potential meeting or summit could lend towards in the coming days, weeks, and really years ahead?
It's an important move in all of this to bring these world leaders together so that they can see the outcome of negotiations that are successful. And that's exactly what the president has done here. It's important for many reasons, but I want to give you just a few. One has to do with the rebuilding of Gaza. That's one of the outlines in this plan, and it's going to require a lot of money. And the Americans aren't going to be the main people paying for that, according to the sources that we've talked to. But there are regional partners in this part of the world who are going to put up money and support to get security forces in place to ensure that aid is flowing to civilians. And that's part of what they're going to discuss there when they're in Egypt. But also looking forward, again, the president wanted to make very clear that this is not just a ceasefire for Gaza. This is a peace plan. This is the eighth war that the president has ended since he took office, but it's also something much larger. It's an opportunity to stabilize a region that historically has had peace deal after peace deal collapse. The president doesn't want to see that, according to his public statements and the reporting that we've done. And so what he wants to do here is lay the foundation for the future of not just this agreement, but how it's going to expand. Remember the president during his first term, the Abraham Accords. He was able to normalize ties with countries like the United Arab Emirates and with Bahrain and with Morocco. And then you started to see direct flights between Tel Aviv and Abu Dhabi. And it created a scenario in the Middle East where countries realized that there was real a possibility for the future if you opened up tourism, you opened up trade, and you opened up the ability to normalize ties. And so there are regional countries like Syria, where the president has been able to send his envoy Tom Barak to go and speak with the new leadership of Ahmed al-Shara and say, look, we're not going to have endless wars in the Middle East anymore. We want deals that we can stabilize the region. That's what he's doing with the deal now in Gaza that has ended this 2-year conflict between Israel and Hamas in a matter of hours. The hostages are going to come home. The president's going to deliver remarks before the Israeli Knesset, and then immediately he's going to fly to Egypt and meet with world leaders to finalize this deal and send a message that this is not just a ceasefire in Gaza. This is a peace plan for the Middle East.
Trey, it's great to see you reporting not having to wear a helmet and a flak jacket. I hope it stays that way for a while. Thank you so much for bringing us the latest information, and we'll see you soon, I'm sure.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe.
The energy's so weird with that. It's like as weird as this damn helicopter. Like I haven't even I got a video up again. This is from the sun of the helicopter. Yeah, I want to see it again because that's like, and then I also want to see again the ship that the Christopher Columbus ship that went down today, and then we'll watch the Tyson de la Cruz, and then I'm wrapping it up. Yeah, I gotta get going, and I'll be back on tomorrow and do it all over again. Let's see. Okay, here. Okay, let me go ahead and start it. They landed too. It landed in like the perfect spot. He changed his mind.
Oh,
He's
no,
admitting.
no. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god.
He said he changed his mind. It's like, oh no. That's something. Like that you were able to get there quick to them made the chances of them surviving a lot better. What is the one that landed that was crazy. Boom. The rotor malfunction. See that? Probability, yeah. Yeah, because the way it sounded too. It didn't sound right. And what a way to land. And landing is probably the best spot to land at. That wouldn't have had like mass casualties. I don't think anybody on the ground got hurt. And 5 people injured from this accident. That's amazing. That's amazing. But it's just so telltale. Like all these malfunctions, helicopter crashing, boats sinking, like so many shit going on. Like, let's come over here. This one here. This is the replica of the Christopher Columbus.
Toda la parte del piso inferior, que es cuarto de máquinas, comedor, baños, completamente inundados.
Métale la sirena, ya se va, despídanlo.
Gone.
Se fue, güey, el marigalante se fue.
Cerramos la parte interior del barco, lo que es cuarto de máquinas, a un 80-85% del nivel del agua. Bien, nos retiramos, somos los últimos en embarcar la embarcación, personal de protección civil del estado. Toda la parte del piso inferior, que es cuarto de máquinas, comedor, baños, completamente inundados.
Yeah, that's gone. I mean, that could be a good floating destination for scuba divers. You know?
Se fue, güey, el marigalante se fue.
Cerramos
Yeah, so yeah, we've seen this already. It goes on a loop. Yeah. And tomorrow's Christopher Columbus Day. We have the sinking of Christopher Columbus sinking off of, I guess it was the coast of Mexico and the Gulf of America. Some people call it Gulf of Mexico. I listen to the president, you know. I call it Gulf of America. It's kind of crazy, you know, shit like that happens. You know, just weird shit. And the helicopter crashing. Really wild. Let's see what else I have here. Let's go back live to what's going on over in the creepy protests out here. I'm not gonna put sound because I can hear all that now. It's like too much noise. I could put it on for a second, but I don't want to be hearing all the craziness. Yeah, you know what I mean? The ice on the roof. Look at they're up on the roof. They're up there, and then these people are down here, and you know, it's just I don't know, it's just very weird. This right here is Portland. I know that for sure. This is Portland, Oregon. This is Portland right here. I think the one in the bottom, I believe, is Los Angeles. I'm not sure if it's Chicago. No, I think it's Los Angeles. I'm not 100% sure the one at the bottom here. But this is what's going on here in America. While Trump is making peace over in Israel with Gaza, with the Palestinians, ISIS here fighting their own people, the Americans, with their stupidity. Okay, so it's all... Okay, so this is down here Portland too. So this is all Portland. So all three is Portland. Yeah, because I just saw the sign right here. Yeah, that's Portland. This is the people right here. So there's a camera facing this way. There's another one here, and then there's another one over here. So there's three cameras that you're looking at, Portland. Yeah, you see? So they're like right around the same area, like a dinosaur, a skeleton. I guess because it's Halloween, so they're starting to dress up. You know, we're not too far away from Halloween. We're just like a few, 2.5 weeks away, and we're right into Halloween season, and we're pretty much already into the Halloween season here. I got my nice little setup, as you can see. It's nice and cozy here. I like my little skeleton that I purchased today. Oh, it's like so cute. All right, I just had enough of this view already. Yeah, I like the little skeleton up here. I saw it. I was like, man, and you put a tea light candle in it, and it stays on like that, and it looks so cool. I was like, man, this great little decoration. I got it at IKEA, and it was on sale too. I was like, Rick ain't stupid. He got that sale. I was like, hell yeah, I got it on sale. But it was a good buy because I like the color, the black and then the orange with the eyes and stuff. I was like, oh, that looks so cool. I want it. So I got it. And it's perfect for the dusk. It's not overwhelming. It fits right in. Probably keep it there all year round. It'll be Halloween all year round. Okay, let's see what's going on here with the storm. Let's go check it out here with the nor'easter. I don't even know what's the name of it, by the way. They never mentioned it, but let's see what's up. Let's see what's going on.
Right now on CBS News Philadelphia, the nor'easter battering the shore, high winds and higher tides pushing water onto roads and into neighborhoods. And there is concern that the worst of this flooding is still ahead of us. Good evening. I'm Aziza Schuler. We start tonight with meteorologist Andrew Kozak in the Hyundai Next Weather Sphere. Andrew, what parts of the shore are seeing the worst of this storm so far?
Really, right now, we've got a couple of reporters up and down, which we'll show you in just a second live out there. We are seeing some areas across the shore seeing more wind and less rain, some more rain and less wind, but everybody is seeing coastal flooding issues with some shore points under feet of water right now. Now, if you're watching from Philadelphia, you're seeing cloudy skies, maybe a little bit of a drizzle out there, but most people in Philadelphia today have not seen anything more than just, well, nasty weather. Not so nice out there, but the inconvenient weather that's going to be coming in our way is nowhere near the impactful weather that we are seeing right now at the shore now. Now, if you want rain to come our way, you're going to have it. It's going to come in from a secondary low that's forming and push showers, maybe even a few rumbles of thunder and a couple of heavy downpours in our area in the city and even northwest as we head overnight and into the day on Monday. That is going to be along a secondary push of a low pressure system all attached as this one big nor'easter continues to affect the area.
Wow.
Due to everything I just said, we have a next weather
If this was in
and into
December,
Monday with
January,
coastal flooding,
this
wind
would have
and
been a
rain.
big
The
snow
entire
event.
region, especially near the shore, is underneath
This
the
would have been a
This is
hell of a
live
snow
look at
event.
Margate. Waves continue to come up.
Oh,
we did
my
have
goodness.
high tide today
I
at
can hear it
12:18
now.
in Atlantic City and around that time for most
Like a
shore
foot of
points.
snow.
But we're really concerned about the push of more rain and wind
Like anywhere
as
between
we
like
approach high tide
8
after midnight tonight.
and
that's
11
going to happen
inches
a
of
little
snow.
after 1 o'clock. As we get into the evening hours, more rain starts to push across the area.
Wait,
And
it's
again,
been raining
into the
today?
wee hours of the morning spreads even
It
across
would've been heavy
Philadelphia.
snow,
I'll be
too.
back in a couple of minutes. We're going to outline everything that you need to know as we head into your Monday, and I'll have a look at your 7-day plan.
It's going to rain
Season
all
All right,
night.
Andrew, and now we have team coverage tonight from the
I'll
hardest
tell you,
hit
this is a
areas. Our
precursor.
crews are spread across Cape May and
This is
Atlantic
a
counties,
precursor.
tracking the impacts of this
What's
storm.
gonna happen
Ray
later on in
Strickland
the
went
year?
to Sea Isle City and Ocean City.
Powerful waves crashing into the beach in Ocean City. A sight to see for many who visited the boardwalk to capture Mother Nature in action.
I had to get video of that because you don't normally see that here. Like it's usually like 2 or 3 feet maybe in the summer.
I just love seeing just that power in the water because it is just majestic.
But despite the scenic views,
Power of
officials
the
are
water.
warning for potentially
Get your
dangerous
ass
conditions,
inside.
and people living in Ocean City are
I know it's
already
windy and
seeing
stuff,
conditions
but
get worse.
it's going to get worse with the
Streets here in
flooding.
Ocean City are beginning to flood. As you can see, the water is about halfway up to
Oh,
that fire
shit.
hydrant. And many cars that we've seen, like you can see now, began driving through this flood water, but some have even turned around because the water is getting too deep.
It's come up as high as the steps
I think since we've had this house renovated about 10 years ago.
Wow.
So, but that's, we're higher up, and, so I'm not concerned.
Chris Bell says his home should be safe since it's on higher ground, but he was forced to move his car. Bell says he's expecting more water around his home than in years past.
We might get water in the garage again for the first time in 10 years.
I've never seen it like this time of the year.
These people got too much. They got a lot of money in their hands, anyways. Their insurance must be out of
It's hurricane-like conditions here, and it's very windy.
Area roads were flooded, and our cameras also captured the moment police and fire responded to a car that got stuck in the water. John Pergolini says he's prepared for what's to come, even if it gets worse.
We hunkered down, took all the chairs in, sealed around the doors to make sure we didn't get any excess water, and we're just going to ride it out.
In Sea Isle City, Ray Strickland, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Now let's go to Ryan Hughes, who is live in North Wildwood. Ryan, what are you seeing on your end?
Hey there, Aziza. Good evening. We're seeing those strong wind gusts every once in a while, but the bigger problem here in North Wildwood is the tidal flooding. We are on 2nd Avenue in between New Jersey and New York Avenues, and take a look behind me. This entire street is almost completely underwater. It's one of many streets in this area that is experiencing flooding. Now, this is an area that is prone to flooding, being so close to the bay. And I have to say, the water has receded a little bit over the past hour or two. It was much higher after we saw high tide earlier this afternoon. It was up to maybe the first steps of some of these homes. And if you pan over, you can see that Mercedes there in the distance. It was almost up to that bumper. Now, a short time ago, we stopped at the boardwalk near Lincoln Avenue. The beach is huge here in Wildwood, as you know. And in that area, you could see the water was almost right up to
I wanted
the
to go
boardwalk.
there.
Between the rough surf and the strong winds, it's just
And it got a
driving
little
that
crazy
water
with
in.
the kids
Another
and
problem
all the
area is 18th
crazy shit in
Avenue
the
and New
summer.
Jersey Avenue in North Wildwood. The street there is almost
Wow,
completely
they just
underwater.
flooded.
And then we also saw Rio Grande Avenue. That's one of the main roads that leads you into Wildwood. That is also flooded. Neighbors we spoke with out here say they made it through one high tide, but they're concerned as they get ready for round 2, the next high tide, in just a few hours.
Yeah.
I get a little anxious every time I look at the door when the water comes.
And they got another one in the morning, too.
Just hope it stops. And we're thankful it's not raining. Boy, if we had rain, we'd really be in trouble. Really be.
I hope the water starts going down before the next high tide. It might not. We're lucky.
And we
you
also
know.
checked in on the conditions
There's a
in
king
Cape
tide,
May this
too.
afternoon. There was some minor tidal flooding in the area of Elmira Street and Venice Avenue. That is an area that's filled with homes. It's near the Acme supermarket. We're told it also often floods in that spot. I spoke to the police chief. He tells me his main concern as we head into the night is the wind gusts and, of course, the next high tide. Back out here live in North Wildwood now, police around the island are working to block off some of these flooded roadways. This area, as you can see, is not blocked off. I just spoke to the mayor here. He is encouraging everyone not to drive through these floodwaters because you just don't know exactly how deep they are. Another point he wanted me to get across to everybody as we get ready for high tide in just a few hours, he wants everyone to move your car if you live in a low-lying area before you go to bed, because he says you may regret it come tomorrow morning. We're live in North Wildwood. Ryan Hughes. Aziza, back to you.
All good things to know. Thank you, Ryan. Now up the Parkway in Avalon. This is the scene there. You can see the floodwaters by 23rd Street and Ocean Drive on the inland side of the island. There were several inches of water on the roads, making it impassable. CBS News Philadelphia's Alicia Roberts is live in the conditions in Brigantine. Alicia.
Well, Aziza, the big story here right now in Brigantine are the high winds that are coming in from the ocean tonight, along with the high surf behind me. You can feel the sand and the sea foam really kicking up right now. Since we've stepped out to do this report tonight, things have definitely worsened over the last few minutes or so. Those gusts of winds pretty strong, getting difficult to stand here, although the seawall is blocking it for us a bit here as we are trying to remain safe. Right now in through Brigantine, 800 customers remain without power tonight. This island very quiet right now, and those that have chosen to stay are being advised to make sure they secure any items that could be at risk for flying away, and also to make sure that they park their cars on higher grounds We drove around the island earlier, including on the bay side there, and have yet to see some of the flooding that is expected to hit overnight. But again, the worst of it may still be yet to come. Here in Brigantine, high tide is set for tonight at 2:01 a.m. So for residents that are here right now, the cautionary tale is as the storm continues to move in, continues to pound the island, there is that threat for coastal flooding. Make sure to secure your items and move your cars to higher ground, as the threat for flooding certainly here could be getting worse. And again, tonight, things are very windy tonight here on the island. Those high winds, high tidal flooding concerns continue. We'll send it back to you, Aziza.
Alicia, thank you for bringing us this information and fighting through those tough winds.
All right, we're going to keep it moving, okay? Because we got another Jason A to watch. So let's watch this. Let's put up the volume here. Give me 1 sec. There we go. I don't know why it does that. Let me reset it. Here we go.
We did get one report that as 3I Atlas gets closer now to the sun, telescopes here on Earth are picking up other objects flying alongside it. Is that accurate?
Well, there are always objects. The question is whether we see unusual activity. And in fact, I tasked my research team at the Galileo project to monitor the sky for any unusual activity, because it's possible that if it's a alien probe, that in fact it would release some mini probes that will visit the planets.
Yeah.
You know, we should not assume anything. It's a blind date, and we should watch the other side, you know, just in case there is a serious...
Really speculate as to what's really going on.
Months ago here on the show, Jeremy Corbell back in January is on camera talking about how they will push this idea of like a fake alien invasion on us, and they will talk about some large interstellar object that's coming towards us. That's the story that they're going to use to try to scare us. So turning off these cameras, NASA not releasing photos. Do you think it's all part of this game, or do you think it's a separate story that Jeremy might have been talking about?
3I Atlas.
3I Atlas. A lot of people are talking about that right now. Hot button topic.
Right. So I remote viewed the objects first, and I basically was determining that it was more of a craft, more of a mothership.
Okay.
I'm not the only one who, you know, came up with this idea. Like I already basically expressed it to other people I know.
Yeah, you are.
A lot of other remote viewers have also been saying that I can confirm whatever you've been seeing. And then more recently, I was in touch with a person, like a scientist. So I spoke to an astrophysicist who worked at CERN, and she opened up to what she experienced there. And I was quite amazed by the content. So indirectly, she was introduced to me from a person in the intelligence world, and she felt compelled to address it. She was more of a consultant working for CERN.
Okay.
And as a young person, she was basically at the same time shocked and excited about what she saw and what she heard. And the content of that was at CERN, they've used their collider to open up a portal to communicate with extraterrestrial beings.
Wow.
And one of them are the occupants from 3I Atlas.
Okay. That's an incredible statement.
I mean, NASA hasn't released anything yet due to the government shutdown. And that's another factor that people are pointing to, that this is more than coincidental, that just as 3I Atlas approaches Mars, gets to its perihelion, NASA goes into shutdown mode. Is that accident? Is that coincidental? And people are also speculating about the generals being summoned to the Pentagon. I mean, were they really there just to be lectured to in terms of the Pentagon or the Department of War, or were they being secretly given operational briefings talking about a planetary crisis if it becomes clear that 3I Atlas is a spacecraft and is carrying extraterrestrials who are associated not just with Mars in its ancient past, but also with Earth in terms of underwater colonies. And that's something that would be of great concern to Pentagon generals.
I've read reports about the way that it's, the elliptic tracking, the way that it's come in, it would just be nearly impossible. I mean, basically like fractions of a percentage point likelihood that this would ever happen to be going on this particular path, as you point out. And I mean, I guess the universe is vast enough that there's a chance, right? There's absolutely a chance. I mean, people do win the lottery after all, there is a chance, right? So I guess in that situation it could be. But also the other question is about NASA not releasing these photos is that, well, there's a government shutdown. So maybe all these guys are just off. They're not making any money right now. They're just non-essential employees of the government. So they're just not interested in releasing any of these photos to us right now because they're at home.
This threat could be easily averted, and that's what I picked up as well from the Galactic Alliance, that they will be coming over and come to Earth and save humanity, basically for saving their own.
Okay. And when you say coming to Earth, is the mothership going to actually approach Earth, or
no,
probes and smaller vessels will come out and...
Yeah, what I picked up was like 3 Atlas would never show up to Earth. And then probably like a few thousand ships would just come out of it and then come to Earth. And that would be part of like the open disclosure that, you will see them everywhere around the planet at that point.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to keep a lid on disclosure in that scenario.
Right.
So is the SSP preparing for this? Is NASA preparing for this moment?
They prepared for this for a while. So they were already aware of their arrival. They were already aware that the spaceship was coming in and that they were intervening and trying to get towards them on the back of the sun before the approach, happened. Like they already knew. So I think they are talking about interception, or maybe potentially like talks. So I think there are some communications going on.
Okay.
As to know how successful they will be, that I'm not sure. But I know from like firsthand that that's what they are planning on doing, if it hasn't already happened.
Okay, so Sebastian, there's also something else being reported right now. There seems to be these other 7 to 9 comets potentially coming close to 3I Atlas. What do you know about that?
Yeah, so all of these potential comets, they are all interstellar objects as well, and they are coming from outer space, and they are all converging towards 3 Atlas and the sun.
Okay.
So to have that situation is very remote. Just to have like 3 Atlas to come through the solar systems and to predict it to be grazing Mars and the sun and then Earth and afterwards Jupiter, it's like 1 chance in 500. To having all of these objects at the same time is like a few chances in 1 million or 2 million or more. So it's very remote. So to know that those objects, especially C2025 Swan comet, is like the size, it's like 100 times bigger than 3I Atlas. And that's actually going towards the sun at pretty high speed as well.
So is that one of the 9 objects we're talking about? Is that okay?
That's correct.
Okay, that's interesting. So just clarify for me, did you remote view this, or is this also what the scientists are saying?
This is what the scientists are saying.
Trying to get the public interested in 3I Atlas, but giving it very little information that could educate people about what's really going on. And then you have NASA astronomers, prominent astronomers, such as Dr. R.V. Loeb from Harvard. They're proposing this dark forest theory, which is the idea that interstellar space is very dangerous, and that any alien civilization that would send probes here would do so on the assumption that it's entering a hostile environment, and so it would be prepared to act in a hostile way to defend itself or deal with that environment. And so I think we do get to this kind of possibility that people have been talking about for decades now, which is the false flag alien invasion, that an object like 3I Atlas could be kind of the precursor, or could be made the fulcrum of some kind of attempt to fool the public that we are under some kind of invasion, and certainly there's I totally believe that there are positive extraterrestrials out there that are monitoring us and want to interact with us. But I think that there are those within the government apparatus, the deep state, ruling bloodline families, whatever you want to call them, that want to prevent that. And their way of doing that is to use their mainstream media assets and assets within the legislative bodies of major governments to make the public believe that we would be invaded rather than friendly extraterrestrials making contact.
You remote viewed 3i Atlas. Did you do that on your own, or were you tasked with this assignment?
I was tasked by the same intelligence people I'm working with to look at the object because those had concerns. But what I saw as a remote viewer was a mothership with occupants on board, and they were mostly Draco reptilian occupants.
Okay.
That's what I saw as a remote viewer. And
that was corroborated by other remote viewers seeing the same thing.
That's correct. Yes.
The ship and Draco.
That's correct. One of them is John Vivanco, who is also a known remote viewer. And he announced it publicly as well. And other people from the Stargate program as well. So they basically all came up with the same idea. And when I was asked to talk to this astrophysicist, I was kind of surprised because I had no contacts at CERN directly, and then all of a sudden I was talking to this woman, and she was telling me that the portal that was opening up to speak to those beings was already in existence, like almost like in a boardroom setting. So they show up and then they interact with scientists and communicate directly with them.
Okay, wait. So I know this is some of our audience might understand what you're saying, but to be clear, CERN already has a room and a technology to open a portal to talk to extraterrestrials.
Yes.
But recently, they also used it to communicate with the beings on 3i Atlas.
That's correct.
Okay, go on.
So those beings introduced themselves as such. Like I said, we are the occupants of this object. I don't know exactly what were the exact communication to address the object, if they say it was 3i Atlas or something else. I don't know. But somehow the scientists knew it was from 3i Atlas for what was coming.
Okay.
And they did not show up physically. They show up as holograms. Now, I didn't really know how they look like. So I didn't really ask the question, which is kind of silly of me, but they apparently showed up as holograms. They looked tall, that's what she said, and they communicated telepathically with every single scientist in the room.
Wow.
And they all got the same message, which is that they are coming in peace and they're just trying to come over here to gather all the star seeds of this planet. That's pretty much, to me, it's kind of a cryptic message. I don't know what that means exactly, but that's how they introduce themselves as to come here.
So when you remote viewed, did you pick up on that intention as well?
Yes and no. I believe that the Draco reptilians, will be coming to Earth, but as to know what the exact intent, that I could not really say.
Well, this is an extraordinary development.
It is, yeah. So you know that 3i Atlas is always like shaping up. So right now it's actually on its way to the sun. And it's going towards Mars, and the directions of it is actually getting closer to Mars, so it's changing directions.
That's unusual.
We know that it changed colors, right? So it went from red hue colors to green colors, which is the presence of nickel, without the presence of iron, which is not seen in any comets or in the space in general. And it had a light on the front of it, which was not as a coma. The light was coming from the front, and it was shining over 100 kilometers ahead. But the energy field emanating from that comet is too strong and too powerful to be just a regular natural comet, basically.
You're calling it a comet, but...
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it is.
Jason A with an awesome upload there. You never know. These times where we're living in, it's very unique times. Well, it's very convenient to go on a government shutdown, a partial, right? And part of that partial includes NASA, that actually monitors asteroids and threats that comes in to our area of the world. So that they're not getting paid, that does not make any sense. They shouldn't even be a part of that bill or whatever bullshit you guys are making up and having this shut down for no damn reason. There's no reason that NASA is a part of that bullshit, and they're not getting paid. So since they're not getting paid, no one's taking pictures or videos or nothing. They're just like, all right, we're just gonna leave it alone and we're just gonna go do whatever we want because I'm not getting paid. That makes 0 cents. 0 cents. Like, they're keeping all this a secret. Everything's always been a secret with the United States. It's always going to be a secret. It's just none of your business. That's what. And I knew, and I've been saying it for a long time. I was like, there's things coming our way. I've been saying that for the longest. Just go back and watch. I've been saying it forever. It's like, I just feel like these objects coming our way. All right, so we're going to go next to Tyson De La Cruz. And we're going to end the show with a back-to-back Tyson. And then I am out. Because I'm going to go sleep early tonight. I got a lot of things to do tomorrow. So with that said, let's go ahead and watch Tyson.
And tonight, critics point to issues in the way Baltimore handles open-air drug market.
America, Baltimore just gave us another horrifying example of what Democratic leadership looks like in practice. 11 people overdosed simultaneously in Penn North. This is the third mass overdose in this same neighborhood in just 3 months. But here's what's going to make your blood boil. Baltimore City Council just admitted that they've been asking for a comprehensive plan to dismantle open-air drug markets for almost 364 days. That is almost an entire year, and they still don't have one. Meanwhile, residents are saying it's happening all day, every day, because mass overdoses have become so routine, they just expect them to happen.
Tonight, we're looking into another mass overdose in Penn North in Baltimore, the third in the past 3 months.
Yeah, nearly a dozen people were involved. At least 7 were taken to the hospital.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. What we're witnessing in Baltimore isn't just a public health crisis. It's a complete breakdown of governance where politicians have spent an entire year talking about plans while people die on the streets from industrial scale poison. Let me break down what happened in Penn North. That may or may not shock every American. It doesn't shock me. 11 people overdosed simultaneously with age ranges from 30 to 60 years old. 6 males and 1 female. 7 were taken to the hospital while 4 others refused transport.
Well, Maxine, we've got an update from police at this hour. They say the victims taken from here range in age from 30 to 60 years old. That includes 6 males and 1 female, all of them with what police are calling non-life-threatening injuries.
But here's what should terrify you. This is the 3rd overdose in Penn North in just 3 months. In July, 27 people were hospitalized from what federal officials believe was fentanyl mixed with sedatives. Now we have 11 more victims in the same exact neighborhood.
This is the same area where dozens of people were taken to hospitals after a mass overdose in July. 27 people hospitalized in that incident. The cause was believed to be fentanyl mixed with sedatives, according to federal officials.
When 11 people overdose simultaneously, that's not individual users making bad choices. That is a coordinated distribution network that can poison the entire neighborhood in just one day. The dealers know exactly what they're selling. They know the product is lethal. They know that it's going to kill people, but they also know that Baltimore's leadership won't hold them accountable. Listen to what residents are saying about life in Penn North, because their words expose the complete failure of Baltimore's leadership. When asked about these mass overdoses, one resident said something that's going to break your heart.
When I see things like this, I keep coming and going because ain't no telling when the next one is going to happen. Like it's all day, every day.
All day, every day. That is what life is like in Baltimore under Democratic leadership. Mass overdoses have become so routine that residents just expect them to happen. They're living in constant fear, not knowing when the next wave of poison will hit their neighborhood. But here's what should make your blood boil. Residents know exactly why this keeps happening. They're speculating that it's a bad batch of drugs that continues to be the culprit, with a little bit of help coming from city leaders. One resident was brutally brutally honest about Baltimore's leadership.
No, they're only showing up because of incidents like this. Very rarely you see those guys come here, to help us. We need help. I want to see some changes, right? Because me, for myself, I don't want to die in this neighborhood.
I don't want to die in this neighborhood. That's what residents are saying while Baltimore politicians focus on everything except for actually solving the problem. They only show up after mass overdoses for photo ops, then disappear until the next tragedy. Here's how Baltimore's leadership responded to 11 more people overdosing in the same neighborhood where 27 people overdosed just months earlier. The mayor's office released a statement that perfectly captures everything wrong with their approach.
The mayor's office did release a statement that reads in part, the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement has maintained a presence on the ground at Penn North in recent months and will continue to provide resources and support to residents. Teams were also on the scene with life-saving medication used to reverse an opioid overdose.
Notice the language: maintained a presence, provide resources and support, life-saving medication to reverse overdoses. They're not talking about stopping drugs from coming in. They're talking about arresting the dealers. They're talking about managing the symptoms while the disease continues to spread. This is what I call the enablement industry, a network of organizations, activists, and government programs that profit from keeping people addicted rather than getting them clean. They call it harm reduction, but what it really does is normalize drug use, make it safer for people to stay addicted, and create a permanent client base for their programs. Instead of attacking the supply chain, they manage the symptoms. Instead of arresting the dealers, they hand out clean needles. But here's the most damning evidence of Baltimore's complete failure of leadership. Councilman Mark Conway, who chairs the Public Safety Committee, just revealed something that should outrage every taxpayer in America.
So I've been asking the various agencies for a comprehensive plan for dismantling open-air drug markets for just under a year, 364 days to be exact, and we haven't gotten it.
Let that sink in. For 364 days, almost an entire year, Councilman Conway has been asking city agencies for a comprehensive plan to dismantle open-air drug markets, and they haven't provided one, not in 364 days. While people are overdosing in mass numbers every few months, Baltimore agencies can't even produce a freaking plan.
I've been visiting and talking to folks at various levels, local, state, and federal level, to get them to consider ways that we can intervene on this issue. I've really struggled to get real traction here and a real sense of urgency, and I want to make that crystal clear.
People are dying, families are being destroyed, entire neighborhoods are being poisoned, and there's no sense of urgency from Baltimore's leadership.
We need to address this issue. People are dying, families are being broken up, and people are still falling into addiction every single day. And the fact that we don't have a plan? How do we not have a plan? This is not a new issue.
That's the question every Baltimore taxpayer should be asking. Mass overdoses have been happening for years. Open-air drug markets operate with impunity, and they still don't have a plan after 364 days of asking for one. Community activist Kenny Ibram sees right through Baltimore's scam, and what he revealed should make every American furious. He's watching these mass overdoses happen every single day while being critical of the mayor's administration's response.
This happening every day up here. Among those critical of the mayor's administration's response to the opioid crisis, including this latest incident. And you see the mayor and them put a lot of effort in it.
But here's the most damning part of what he said, and this exposes the real business model behind Baltimore's approach.
Like, this is a mass overdose that's going on. It's a performance. Yeah, it's the city trying to get some government money, grant money. It's funded. They want to put a new building up here as well, or some kind of drug treatment building that they want to put up here where they get funded for that.
He's exposing the real game. Baltimore's leadership is using these mass overdoses to justify more federal funding for more programs that will manage the crisis rather than actually solve it. They're literally profiting from misery. Every mass overdose becomes an opportunity to request grant money for more buildings, more programs that keep people addicted rather than getting them clean. Think about the incentives here. If they actually solve the drug problem, thousands of people would lose jobs and millions in federal funding would disappear. So they have a financial interest to manage the crisis rather than actually ending it. But not everyone in Baltimore has given up hope. Carl Green, whose parents dealt with drug issues, came to testify at City council meeting because he understands what real accountability looks like.
But he says it is a complicated situation, which is why he came to testify.
Green said something that every American should remember.
It's important because people forget that they're public servants. We have to show up in order to hold them accountable, right? If we want change.
They're public servants. That is exactly right. These politicians work for the people of Baltimore, not the other way around. But unfortunately, Green also fell into the trap of making excuses for their failures.
I'm a little understanding only because there are so many pieces to dismantling these open air drug markets, right? People need different needs, and that's why harm reduction is so important. And because you're finding out specifically long-term solutions to get people off of the street.
Even the victims of this failed system are making excuses for politicians who created it. That's how deep this indoctrination goes. They've convinced people that harm reduction is compassionate when it's actually just enabling addiction for profit. After 364 days of asking for a plan and getting nothing, Councilman Conway finally gave Baltimore police and health departments a 60-day deadline to present a written plan of action.
Start with a small drug shop and try to work to come in and fill that void.
This is exactly the kind of weak, progressive thinking that turned Baltimore into a war zone where 11 people can overdose simultaneously, and politicians respond by asking for more time to create plans that they should have had years ago. Baltimore has been doing the exact opposite to stop drug flow into their neighborhoods. They surrender to the cartel, they enable the dealers, and they create entire industries that profits from managing addiction rather than actually curing it. This is exactly why President Trump is doing what he's doing. When local leadership either is too incompetent or complicit, when they spend 364 days asking for plans while people die in the streets, the federal government has an obligation to step in. The criminals in Baltimore are so entitled that they can poison entire neighborhoods with impunity. When 11 people overdose simultaneously in the same area where 27 people overdosed just months earlier, that tells you everything you need to know about how completely Baltimore leadership has failed. America, Baltimore's latest mass overdose, 11 people poisoned simultaneously in a neighborhood that's seen this happen repeatedly, perfectly illustrates what happens when you prioritize ideology over competence in government. For 364 days, Baltimore City Council has been asking for a comprehensive plan to dismantle open-air drug markets. For 364 days, they've got nothing. Meanwhile, residents are saying it's happened all day, every day, because mass overdoses have become routine, and community activists are exposing how the city uses these tragedies to justify more federal funding for programs that manage addiction rather than cure it. The residents of Penn North deserve better than politicians who show up for photo ops after mass overdoses, then disappear until the next tragedy. They deserve better than a system that profits off their misery while calling it harm reduction. This isn't just about Baltimore. This is what democratic governance looks like in practice. 364 days of asking for plans while people die, enabled industries that profit from addiction, and politicians who view mass overdoses as opportunities for more federal funding rather than emergencies requiring immediate action. The good news is that federal intervention might be coming soon. When local leadership spends an entire year failing to create basic plans while people die on the streets, it's time for competent leadership to step in and actually solve the problem. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
All right, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. And then this one, there's the last of the night, and it's Tyson de la Cruz, and let's watch.
The Kentucky Attorney General is suing the website Roblox for contributing to child exploitation.
America, we just uncovered the most disturbing child PDF network operating in plain sight on your children's devices. Kentucky Attorney General just sued Roblox, a platform with 380 million users, where nearly 2/3 of American children ages from 9 to 12 play daily, for knowingly allowing to become what he calls a hunting ground for child PDFs. But here's what should terrify every parent. The FBI has been tracking a sophisticated international PDF network called 764 that specifically targets children through these games like Roblox and Minecraft. And they've been doing it for over a year while your kids play these games thinking that they were safe.
They'll use a bait. That's crazy.
Attorney General Russell Coleman says enough is enough, and that's why he's launched a lawsuit against Roblox, accusing the online giant of turning the game into a gateway for predators.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This isn't just about one gaming platform. This is a systematic failure to protect our children from sophisticated criminal networks that use technology to hunt, groom, and blank children while making billions of dollars in profit. Every parent in America needs to understand what's really happening on these platforms. Let me break down exactly why Kentucky's Attorney General Russell Coleman filed this lawsuit, because what he discovered should make every parent immediately check their block without his knowledge, something that happens millions of times because the platform allows children as young as 6 to create accounts without parental permission.
Young kids are able to create accounts quickly, easily, and without their parents' knowledge. Admittedly, something I learned in the last few days when I learned one of my own children created an account at 10 years old.
But here's what Coleman discovered that should terrify you. Once they're on the platform, there was very little to stop kids from messaging PDFs who are looking for their quote-unquote next victim. This isn't just some random parent. This is Kentucky Attorney General describing a $41 billion company that has turned child safety into an afterthought.
They're on the platform. There is very little to stop kids from messaging predators who are looking for their next victim.
Coleman's 68-page complaint reveals the horrifying reality of what children encounter on roadblocks. Messaging threads soliciting children for actual lamousse material, user-created simulations of violent events, and adult-only scenarios that 6-year-olds can stumble into while they're just playing what they think is an innocent game.
This complaint offers exemplars of 6-year-olds playing the game, walking into rooms filled with cartoon characters having sex.
A Louisville mother of 3, Courtney Norris, drove to Frankfort to support the Attorney General's lawsuit. Her words should haunt every single parent.
I describe it as a fenced-in backyard for kids gaming. And that is the genius and the danger I found of Roblox.
Norris drove from Louisville to Frankfurt to stand with the Attorney General and says even the most involved parents can be blindsided by Roblox.
You know what else is terrifying? While we're talking about PDFs exploiting vulnerable people who can't protect themselves, there's another area where people are getting taken advantage of all the time: Medicare. If you're 65 or older, you know how many people are trying to exploit your situation.
You need to do it. You got to pay the bill.
Complicated plans that benefit them, and honest help that actually protects you. Now, back PDF networks operating through gaming platforms for over a year. The FBI Baltimore office issued a warning about something called the 764 network, and what they revealed should make every parent's blood run cold.
According to the FBI, 764 is a network of nihilistic violent extremists. No lives matter is a mantra. They coerce children, some as young as 10, to do violent acts, either live online or with video posts.
The 764 network isn't just about actually maloosing. They're violent extremists whose mantra is no lives matter. They coerce children as young as 10 to commit violent acts, either live, online, or throughout video posts. Their purpose is to create complete chaos and bring down society through the systematic destruction of children.
Purpose is to basically sow complete chaos and to bring down society. These members have a general hatred for society, the way society currently is.
Here's how they operate. Every parent needs to understand this process. They start by befriending children through popular multiplayer games such as Roblox and Minecraft. From there, they recruit them, they groom them, and then they have them move over to more encrypted messaging platforms like Discord and Telegram.
From there, they kind of recruit, groom them, and then have them move over to more of a encrypted messaging platform.
The FBI is currently investigating more than 300 cases related to this network, with dozens of cases in Maryland alone. Think about that. Over 300 active investigations into children being targeted through gaming platforms, and most parents have no idea what's happening. But this isn't just about online grooming. It leads to real-world violence. A family in Iowa is suing Roblox after their 13-year-old daughter was kidnapped across state lines and unfortunately violently abused. The case ended in Tennessee, and what happened should terrify every parent in America.
A family in Iowa says a stranger met their 13-year-old inside a Roblox chat room, moved the conversation off the platform, and lured the child across state lines. The teen was recovered in Jefferson County, Tennessee in May.
Martin Sandoval, a 37-year-old man, used Roblox chat system to begin grooming this 13-year-old girl. Over months, he purchased gifts, told her he was in love with her, and escalated to asking to engage in actual themed role-playing and sent explicit photos and videos. The lawsuit alleges that Sandoval kidnapped and repeatedly violently actually abused and raped the teen until she escaped. He's now being held on a $500,000 bond, charged with 4 counts of aggravated statutory rape. But here's what should outrage you if that wasn't enough. This could have been completely prevented if Roblox had basic safety measures in place. Safety advocates point out the most rooming often looks like friendship, gifts, and attention until it's not. The rooming process is designed to normalize inappropriate behavior, gradually making children feel quote unquote special and loved before the abuse begins. Now, let me explain exactly how this 764 network operates, because understanding their system is crucial to protecting your children. The FBI revealed that the 764 members maintain control through threats of actual or station and doxing. They gain status through coercion, mostly young girls, into doing the most extreme and degrading acts that they can think of. The acts they coerce children into include actual acts, carving members' names into their body, torturing pets, carrying out violent assaults, and even committing suicide. All of this is either done live online or with video posts that the network shares among their members. 764 members hold quote-unquote watch parties where they view this content together. They keep law books, a track record of their complete control over victims they call e-girls, which are essentially their online girlfriends. They advertise these victims to other members of the group on platforms like Discord and Telegram. Here's something that should terrify every parent. Certain individuals will start off as victims. They continue to be quote unquote groomed as victims. Then they turn into associates or subjects of the group. The network turns victims into pre-PDFs, creating a self-sustaining cycle of abuse. The FBI is currently investigating more than 300 cases related to 764, and that's just what they know. The San Francisco FBI offices confirm that these victims are in the Bay Area and they're getting targeted, meaning this network operates nationwide. The FBI has arrested several prominent members over the past few years, including 28-year-old Henry Ayala from San Francisco Valley, charged with child pornography, and 47-year-old Richard DeSore of Michigan, sentenced to 30 years in prison for actually exploiting kids. But here's what should alarm every parent. The victims are young, but so are the PDFs. Several teen 764 members have been arrested, meaning children are both victims and pre-PDFs in this particular network. The cycle of abuse creates new abusers, expanding the network of exploitation. A mother whose daughter was targeted by 764 describes the terror. They wanted her to take her life, and she was absolutely terrified. The PDFs sent her daughter a suicide manual and demanded she live stream her own.
They wanted her to take her life, and she was terrified.
The mother also asked that I replace her voice with a computer-generated one.
When confronted with these horrifying realities, how did Roblox respond? Their statement reveals everything wrong with big tech's approach to child safety. They said this lawsuit is not based on an in-depth investigation, instead based on sensational, outdated, and out-of-context information. We believe the plaintiff's attorney have misrepresented matters to seek financial gain. What? Think about that response. A 13-year-old girl was kidnapped and repeatedly raped after being groomed on your platform. And the FBI is investigating over 300 cases of children being targeted through gaming platforms. And Roblox's response is claimed that the information is sensationalized and quote unquote outdated. Court records show that Roblox still relies on self-reporting birth dates for age verification. That means a 50-year-old PDF can claim to be 12 years old, and Roblox will take their word for it. There's no real verification, no meaningful oversight, and no accountability when children are harmed.
In a statement to News 2, Roblox says, "We are deeply troubled by any incident that endangers our users. At Roblox, safety is a top priority, and we are continually innovating new safety features."
Safety is a top priority. That's what they say while allowing children as young as 6 to create accounts without parental permission, while relying on self-reported ages, and while PDF networks use their platform to hunt children. children. The FBI has provided specific warning signs that parents must watch out for because recognizing these signs could save your child's life. Look for quick changes in personality, signs of self-harm, questionable injury to pets, and children who become quote-unquote secretive about their online activity. The mother whose daughter was targeted by 764 reveals something that should terrify every parent.
And the swatting happened because she wouldn't kill one of our cats.
What?
So that was the same person who had been trying to get her to take her life.
And to live stream it.
764 members use swatting, calling in false reports to bring armed police to victims' homes as punishment when children refuse to comply with their demands. They also send side manuals to children to demand they live stream their own. The leads in these cases are coming from local law enforcement, victims, families, friends, teachers, guidance counselors, and religious leaders. This means the threat is so widespread that it's being detected by people throughout our communities. Kentucky isn't the only state taking action. Louisiana filed a similar lawsuit earlier this year, and Coleman says more states are likely to follow. This represents a coordinated legal response of what amounts to corporate negligence on a massive scale. But here's what should outrage every parent. Coleman's lawsuit also revealed that after violent events, sickening and disgusting so-called assassination simulators popped up on Roadblock. They allowed children as young as 5 years old to access bloody images of shootings, bloody images that, like our kids can't unsee.
We also learned that after the gruesome assassination of Charlie Kirk, sickening so-called assassination simulators immediately popped up on Roblox. They allowed children as young as 5 to access bloody images of the shooting.
The lawsuit also connected Roadblock extremist extortion groups that have extorted and threatened and conspired to kill children as young as 8 years old. This isn't about individual PDFs. This is an organized criminal network using gaming platforms to target children systematically.
Here's my message to parents. Get your kids off Roblox. Do it today.
The FBI's investigation to 764 represents the largest coordination response to online child exploitation in recent history. With more than 300 active cases across all 55 FBI field offices, this is being treated as a national security threat. But private investigator Becca Spinks, who's been researching 764 for years, warns that taking down the leaders is a really good first move.
Taking down the leaders was a really good first move, but it's far from over. We still have a long way to go to make sure that we're controlling this and make sure that nobody else steps up to the plate to lead the group.
I don't mean to be pessimistic, but at this point in time it feels like it's too big. It's just this disease that has spread throughout the world. Could be the kid next door in their bedroom, who is doing the most horrific things to another kid on the other side of the world, and the parents don't know.
America, the Roadblocks lawsuit, the FBI 764 investigation, and the kidnapping case in Tennessee all point to the same horrifying reality. Our children are being systematically hunted by sophisticated criminal networks while big tech companies prioritize profit over children's safety. When a platform with 380 million users, where 2/3 of American children ages 9 to 12 play daily, allows 6-year-olds to create accounts without parental permission, relies on self-reported ages for verification, and provides direct messaging between children and adults, they're not running a gaming platform. They're operating a hunting ground for PDFs. The 764 network represents an evolution of online PDFs into organized terrorism. They're not just exploiting individual children. They're systematically destroying young lives to create chaos and bring down society. They turn victims into PDFs, creating a self-sustaining cycle of abuse that spreads like a virus through our communities. Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman's message to parents was clear. Get your kids off of Roadblocks. Do it today. But this goes beyond just one platform. Parents have to understand that any platform that allows direct communication between children and adults without meaningful oversight is potentially dangerous. The FBI is doing their job with over 300 active investigations, but they cannot protect every child. That responsibility falls onto the parents who must monitor their children's activity online, understanding the warning signs of grooming and making the hard decision to prioritize their children's safety over their entertainment. The companies that profit from putting children in danger will only change when they face real consequences. Kentucky and Louisiana are leading the way with lawsuits, but every state should follow their example. example. When corporate profits comes from enabling exploitation of children, it's time to shut down the business model. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, Tyson. Another beautiful video here you put up. I mean, we could try every day to try to win that battle. It's gonna be it's gonna take a lot more manpower because right now it's just very light on the manpower when it comes to online predators and online, like, the internet is really big and a lot of these people have like multiple emails, multiple accounts, multiple, like, it's very scary once you put your mind and you start like astral projecting and start seeing all the craziness. It's a very sick world we're living in. That's why the asteroid, they're coming. They're coming. I know. I've been saying it for the longest. I know you guys are coming. All right, I'm going to bed. I'm getting tired. I don't know about you guys, but I am beat. I want you guys to continue having a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night wherever you're at. I'll catch y'all on the flip side, and I'll be back on tomorrow for another beautiful show. And Tyson will be here Thursday at 7:30 Eastern Time PM and 4:30 Pacific. And that's always fun on Thursdays. So that's hanging with Tyson De La Cruz. Other than that, I'm done. I had a long, beautiful day. This rain is driving me crazy. It's hurting my back, and I am done. Good night, everyone. Peace.